Welcome in to a Monday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, live, driven and powered here by Go Chevrolet. Welcome in. We appreciate you starting your week here with us. If you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we will talk LSU football back on the practice field this morning, 9:45. Brian Kelly will meet with the press again today. We'll recap the New Orleans Saints opening up their preseason. They fall 17-14, but some positives to take away from it. We'll talk to Ross Jackson coming up here at 8:30 this morning, so make sure if you have any Saints questions to get them in for the second hour today. As always, we're driven and powered by our friends over at Go Chevrolet, Geaux, Chevrolet.com. Remember, you can find them online. You can always find Go here in Baton Rouge if you're looking for some used cars. They have them over at Go Express Auto Sales on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. We've got a full crew here this morning after a very eventful weekend that we will recap and get you set up for today. The Carpool Queen is here. Here on this Monday morning. Coach Lloyd Courtney is here representing
in the building.
The Zachary Broncos. As Zachary head coach sheet. David Brewerton hooked us up with the mother load of gear. We got the full crew. Coach Stewie behind the ones and twos today. What a piece of alpha coach gear that is, bro.
Right.
The dry fit, sleeveless with the hoodie.
Gotta go with it.
What a hood, too.
Gotta go with it.
And then Jamil. In
Coach
the back. Coach Johnson back there as she is, we don't have a camera set up on her yet. She's all set up too, ready for today's action. She does have her socks on, though.
Unfortunately.
Right.
Still has her socks on, though.
That's our cue.
Yeah.
Hit that like and share button if you don't mind. Hit that like and share button. Hit that comment button. It's good to be here on this Monday. LSU stayed hot in recruiting over the weekend as we were there for our guy Kylan Jackson. Another pledge, another commitment for LSU as they pick up the big defensive back out of Zachary. And shout out to everybody over at Zachary for helping us out and getting us set up. Coach David Brewerton and the entire staff over there. It was cool to be out there. What a campus, bro. What a spread.
Well,
I mean,
you win a couple of state titles, you see what it starts to look like. The thing's coming together. Football is getting on a basketball jump.
it's like they belong in the SEC West out there.
Actually, they won state
In
in
basketball,
back-to-back.
Wow.
2 years in a row.
And they just added 3 coaches to the staff.
They got it going on,
Did they
bro.
really?
Us?
Yeah. I'm on staff now. What are you talking about, Katie? I'm going to coach Kylan Jackson this year.
Yeah, I got
Oh my
safeties and
gosh.
DBs.
Yeah.
And the facilities out there were incredible. The hospitality was fantastic. Thanks to all the good people over at Zachary. We are going to be live today at Jordan Matthews' announcement at 2 p.m. And then we also will be live tomorrow at 6 o'clock in Vacherie down at St. James in the gymnasium over there for a 6 o'clock announcement for their wide receiver. Kai Preen is going to announce between LSU, Mississippi State, Auburn, and Florida State at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Shout out to our crew as well, everybody who was over there, Joe Rodriguez, Stewie, Lloyd, Jamil, Bree, the social media team for getting that thing out. It is looking good. Look, I know everybody wants to pile on here, but we got this thing figured out. And I'm just going to give you a real quick the kind of back end of it so you can take it to your lunch tables and your message boards and spread it there.
Oh, it's on
Glad to give y'all content.
Yeah, right. what we are in charge of, you can go back to the Shelton Sampson announcement, and what we are in charge on as far as the on-site streaming of a show. We've knocked out the park since Shelton Sampson. When we showed up to Catholic High, when we showed up to Zachary, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. This is new for everyone, right? Their IT team have kind of looked at us and said, can you guys play the video, right? Like, can you guys play the video? And obviously the Shelton Sampson one was a debacle where the sound was playing over the production. The thing was kind of echoing in the city. Yeah, I mean, it was the first time. Sucked. You know what I mean? It was bad. Right? We go to Ricky Collins' announcement. All we're in charge of is streaming. There was no video there that night other than some buffering up front. It was a beautiful production.
That thing was perfect.
It was awesome. Sounded good, looked good. The announcement was great. All the audio quality was
by
fantastic.
It was actually Lloyd.
Then we show up Saturday to Zachary. We even go above and beyond and get the house mic piped into what the streaming mic's going to sound like. A huge win for our squad, bro. I mean, Joe Rodriguez is beating his chest walking around.
He definitely was.
I'm going to Walmart.
As soon as we get everything all green lit, they look at us and say, "Can you guys play the video?" We're like, Why not?
Do you
Let's
have
see.
it?
Yeah,
Do you
right.
have
Let's
the video?
see.
Oh, let me send it to you on iCloud.
So
man.
everything
this thing
leading
pops off in
up
2
to the
minutes.
video was
That's
fantastic.
where we fell.
Right?
is
That's
when they
where we
asked to
felt.
play the
And
video.
even the video within the stream was good.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was inside of the arena. So what the deal is we're getting out of the video game.
We're not,
You know what I mean?
Get me out my
Like,
game.
we're not showing up to play videos. We didn't make the video. We're not showing up with the video. We're not trying to play the video. Right? Like, y'all figure that out. Play the video,
What is the
man.
deal with
What
the
we're going to
video?
do is we're going to show up if we're invited, which we've been invited everywhere we've been, and it's been awesome. And we're not turning them down. We love it, man. And it's not just about LSU. I mean, the people out there that think we're following around LSU commits, like, really and truly, get a life. Seriously. Like, grow up, get a life, get a hobby, get a partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is the most just insecure take and little crap I have ever heard of. He's not committing to LSU and you can't show up and announce it.
That's the
so
take,
dumb.
Is that you're not allowed because LSU's not on the
I
list?
guess.
Well,
I
Jordy
guess.
works
I mean,
for
if you
LSU.
just open up our
That's
Twitter,
right.
if you just
He works
open
for
up our
LSU.
Twitter and read the
No,
comments,
I
man,
know,
it's
but that's just
embarrassing
silly.
for the it's embarrassing. It really is that
Not for
people
us.
out there
It's embarrassing
truly
for them.
believe that we shouldn't show up today to Jordan Matthews' announcement. A kid from Baton Rouge at Woodlawn High School who potentially might be the best cornerback in the country, depending on the senior season that he has, is going to commit today. He invites us out, and we're going to tell him, no, you're not going to LSU. Like,
Sorry, bro,
we're running
can't
a
do it.
business here, man. What do you want us to do? We're trying to scale the thing. But, I mean, just from that state alone, we are going to show up to all of these that we are invited to, and hopefully we can grow a brand and a following and something that looks good enough where people want to have us out to do this. But we're out of the video business, right? Everything that we're showing up to do is to stream the announcement. Anything that you want us to do before that, like interview a coach, listen to a player, listen to a teammate, listen to a family member, we're all in. A lot like the Ricky Collins production last Wednesday night, right? Sit down, talk to a coach, talk to the mom, talk to a teammate, talk to an administrator, get the announcement. Bang, bada bing, bada boom. Drive everybody to the kid's social media. The kid gets the clicks. Hell, Ricky Collins had a store set up where you could even buy a T-shirt that night when you showed up to his Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that's watching the stream, we're just directing them to go watch the video somewhere else. We're not playing your videos. We're not in charge of the video. We don't care about the video. We know that the video is
care.
fantastic and it looks great.
Well, I
It's
mean-
just not going to be shown on our show
Yeah.
or during the time where we're there. We learned.
Know where the
2 out
kid's
of 3
going.
times we tried to do it. We got burned. The stove's hot. We ain't touching it no more.
Cooked.
You know what I mean? We ain't touching it no more.
And that's okay because some of those videos run really long and people got bored. Not
Exactly.
Gonna lie.
And they play copyrighted
That
music.
first one, yes, the
Right.
music.
And what happens,
Can't do that.
so in our world, the reason why the video is like super shady for us is because there's copyrighted music on it. And, you know, I mean, our
gonna lose
blood,
another channel.
our bloodline, our lifeline really is this YouTube channel. You know, I mean, YouTube pays us essentially to do this show because of the advertisement that they can run within it. We're not going to jeopardize that by getting a commitment video shown. It's just it's not worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth the lemon ain't worth the squeeze to us. And that's just how it is. But showing up when invited to these announcements and carrying these things live is awesome for us. So every time we're asked to do it, we're going to be there, whether the kid's going to Tennessee, Texas, Michigan, or LSU. So tune in today, 2 o'clock, if you want. Jordan Matthews is going to make his announcement live from Woodlawn's campus, on their campus, in their gym, during school. It should be awesome. I mean, I think the whole school's going to be there.
Yeah, that will be awesome. Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
during school time.
Yeah,
They
I
would
mean,
be.
it's during school time. They're bringing it.
Yeah, right.
That makes me nervous.
We might want to.
You are not allowed to walk around and talk to these kids and
We might
try to
wanna-
sway them to not continue on their
We might want to
education.
show up at 9 a.m. this morning.
But
But I have talked to their digital team over there, and I'm looking forward to going down to St. James tomorrow because I talked to their coach and I talked to one of their administrators, and they believe like they have digital marketing curriculum set up at St. James. Like they have classes down there that they
they
take
really? That's
towards
awesome.
digital media. So they're like looking forward to us showing up
So
because
they're
they
ready.
believe like we're ready for this. Like as far as just the technical aspect
Can
of it,
they
just
play
like
the
setting
video?
up.
That's what I'm saying. If you
No,
have
that's right.
kids that can do it, y'all
The
think,
first
I don't work for your
conversation,
school.
the first conversation I'm having with all these people from now on, and I've had it with the Matthews family, with Marcus Randall, with the athletic director and the principal at Woodlawn, and I've had it with Shaz Preston's dad's kind of overseeing Preen's
commitment.
Just his recruitment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Down there with his dad, with Preen's dad, and the coach down there was that, look, man, we ain't touching the video.
We're not doing your high video.
But what we can do is we can tell everybody that's watching to go to your social media, right? Like drive them all to your social media. We got what we showed up for, man. We got all the views here. Everybody's watching. You made the announcement. We're appreciate you having us here, right? Now let's take all these people and we can move them over to you, right? And like if you want to set up a store, a T-shirt, something that we're going to keep them there and make a little money off tonight, go ahead. You know what I mean?
Trust us.
Do what you want. But we're out of the video business.
We're out of the video game.
Out of it.
We're out of it.
Trust our process. Look, take a look. We built up a little thing over here. I think we'd help you with your social. That's kind of in our wheelhouse. We're good with that kind of stuff. I don't work for the university. I don't work for the high school. I don't know about the auditorium. I don't know where the ladder is. I don't know where any of this shit is, okay? Just let us do the stream.
Can't even keep the projector up.
And you do your stuff, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of delineation
you do
between
what you do.
the Culotta show
You do what you do. This is
and
what
whatever
we do.
high school it is.
Right.
And then we're good.
I mean?
Yeah.
It was, I had a friend of mine who was a contractor growing up. He wanted to start a restaurant. The restaurant failed a year. I was like, bro, you build houses.
Is that what you do?
You know what I mean? You don't know how to barbecue for people.
I'm not putting
you
on
may be able to do it in the
Oklahoma for you
backyard,
Saturday
but this
afternoon.
ain't what you do, man.
Right.
That's not what we do.
Stick
We
with what we know.
stream, we sit, we talk, we can bring you video, we can bring you audio. Everything outside of that, leave us alone. You know what I mean? Like, we don't want anything to do with it. We've been burned. The stove is hot. But these things are awesome. Being a part of these announcements and being inside these gyms and getting the energy of the room, the players. I mean, again, Ricky Collins, Shelton Sampson, all these guys are showing up from around the community, supporting one another. It's just cool to see. It's cool to be a part of. It's cool for our show, for our company, for our brand to be there, right? So, I mean, all of these invitations are kind of flattering to us.
Yeah, they are.
Really. I mean, I can remember when we started in radio and I saw a comment like, "Was you giving Dylan Moses a platform?" Yeah, we did. I mean, I remember Dylan Moses coming on the show multiple times after he had committed to Alabama. In fact, we brought Tim Williams back on the radio show, T-Bob and I, and laughed about Les Miles running into the line at Alabama 4 straight times. Tim Williams was like, we were running towards the sideline like, no way they're going to keep running this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the kid was from Baton Rouge. I'm from Baton Rouge. I'm from Louisiana. Odds are, if you're listening to this show, so are you. I'm prideful in the entire state. I loved watching Landon Collins succeed in the NFL. Call me crazy, but I do. I loved watching the guy play at Dutchtown. I hated that he went to Alabama, but secretly, when he didn't play LSU for Alabama, I pulled for him.
Same.
Did the same thing for all of these guys. I'll do the same thing for Shaz Preston. You know what I mean? Outside of that first November and Saturday, I want LSU to get the best of him. But outside of that, I want Shaz to succeed and go into the NFL. Why? Because we got something in common. He's from Louisiana. Just like Jordan Matthews. And just like I told you last week about Jordan Matthews, this thing is so far from over. Like today, when he picks up most probably the Texas hat, all it's going to do is put more jet fuel into the recruiting department at LSU to try and expedite the relationship building process to flip Jordan Matthews before January. And like I heard from 2 high-ranking LSU recruiting officials last week, if Jordan Matthews chooses Texas today, which everybody anticipates him to do, LSU is going to make it almost impossible for him to leave for Austin in January. If he does, he really wants to be there. But LSU is going to make it almost impossible for him to leave. Just like we told you last Wednesday night when we were at Mason's Grill for Ricky's announcement. The whole Matthews family stepped up in front of the podium and took a picture with Collins. If you were in the room, you could see Jordan Matthews looking around. It didn't take like a psychotherapist to sit there and analyze this kid and look at him and be like, oh, I see that his eyes are wandering and it looks like he's in deep thought about LSU. No, he was like looking around. He was like, look at all this love from my hometown, from my teammate, for the guy that I grew up with. Look at Shelton Sampson here. We played on the same team growing up. We could play for the next 3-4 years together at LSU. You could see his wheels spinning on all of that. And now knowing behind the scenes that LSU's got the pedal to the metal on Jordan Matthews. They want him. They want other guys. They want to close strong, but Matthews fits what they want to do at the defensive backfield at LSU. Today, when he announces not LSU, It's only going to intensify his recruiting. So if he ever has a chance to flip, maybe we get the call at the Jordy Culotta show and says, hey, you were there the first time. Do you want to be here for the flip? You're damn right we want to be there for the flip.
Audible.
Put out a press release.
So, I mean, the ones out there that says you can't cover this, or first off, there's two ways to look. We're running a business, first and foremost. This is great for the shop to be able to be visible and to have these relationships and to get these calls and to have our show in these discussions somewhere behind closed doors on campuses around South Louisiana. People are talking about our show. That's good for us. That's great for us. And we're going to continue to show off Louisiana kids, always. Until the day I die in this industry, if a Louisiana kid asks me to be there for his announcement, whether he's going to Nichols or Texas or LSU, we're in, bro. We'll celebrate you, man. Or her. Whoever it is. This stuff's great for us. But it doesn't mean it's over for LSU. By any means. He's not signing his letter of intent, just like Ricky didn't sign his last Wednesday night.
He can still flip.
Just like Kylan Jackson didn't on Saturday. It looks like the room loves LSU. It looks like Ricky's all LSU. It looks like Shelton Sampson's all LSU. But they've not signed anything, just like when Jordan Matthews picks up whatever hat it is today. And it's not going to be LSU.
Under the hat, under the table.
Geez, that would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Oh,
One more hat.
It'd be incredible.
That would be crazy, right?
And we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know showing up Saturday that Kylan Jackson was going to pick LSU over A&M.
His mama didn't know.
Man, mom was wearing
Maroon.
That shirt.
It was awesome.
No, she was wearing an all
She's
maroon
awesome.
like bodysuit when we walked.
She was like, are you Jordy?
No,
I was
then
like,
she
yes,
had
ma'am.
this
She was like,
half
come
and
here.
half shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't talk. I was like, I got you.
Before
Yeah,
you
she's
got
like,
there,
you
we were
know.
setting up, and she's like, which one of y'all does the interviews? And I was like, he's not here. He's like, don't send him my way. And I was like, okay, you don't have to worry about it. If you don't want to do an interview, you don't have to.
That was
She was
funny.
great. She was great.
Yeah, her shirt was cool.
So another great weekend for LSU. It's going to be a great week. You know, I mean, we're showing up to Vacherie tomorrow. We're going to road trip as a crew. Looking forward to getting down
Sprinter van.
to the Bayou.
Vacherie, which I thought was in Lafayette.
Latvia?
Over there in Lafayette?
Yeah.
You're going to make it in time.
Not even close.
Jackson did throw a little curve. They picked for the Texas A&M hat.
He was
Kinda.
like,
did.
I
That
think I'm
was
going to
cute.
stay home.
How about the Jordy Culotta show with the hat on the table?
Absolutely.
I know,
Yeah,
I
you got a
love
commitment from
You
your
know
own
what I mean?
son.
Yeah, right.
There you
Yeah,
go.
What do you want us to do?
commitment
Not
for
show
you.
up? Get the hell out of here.
When you're giving you something to work at work. Like, watch it work.
Jesus,
You're welcome. Anyway,
Get over to GoFlow IV and start your week off right. Remember, our friends over at GoFlow IV can get your energy up if you're looking for better sleep. If you're looking for better energy during the day, get over and see our friends GEAUX Flow. IV.com, GEAUX Flow IV.com. Got a promo code over there. Mention the Jordy Culotta Show and save yourself 15% on your initial visit over there on Jefferson Highway. GoFlow, GEAUX Flow IV.com. We talked a little bit about it last week at the end of the week, but just our experience over in watching LSU practice and some of the signs and some of the good things to take away from the Tigers getting ready for fall camp. Obviously, they practice again on Saturday morning. They'll be back at it again here today. I'm going to try and make it over to Brian Kelly's press conference at noon this afternoon before heading over to Woodlawn just to hear what the latest is from the head coach, because you can see and hear a lot of these competition and group starting to come together, most notably on the offensive line. Something that we talked a little bit brief about at the end of last week that I wanted to dive more into is the development and the depth that's building on this line of scrimmage on the offensive line. I think that this group right now has a lot of uncertainty around it and has had uncertainty around it now for over a year. It was a very much a group that struggled last season. Obviously, LSU's rushing numbers, their inability to protect the quarterback, their inability to do really anything with consistency on the offensive line very much plagued them last season. Now, they were dealt a tough hand, whether it was personnel, guys that were just not able to catch on, like Anthony Bradford, who seems like, you know, it's really kind of starting to develop for him, or he's starting to get it both on and off the field to keep himself ready to play, or just the lack of depth, the recruiting misses that they had, with the previous staff. James Craig had a reputation not only at LSU but amongst his time in college football. He just was he was very much he just was not a good recruiter. He never was. I don't know how else to say it. He was not good at that part of the job. He came from the NFL. He was probably better fit in the NFL because it was just all about ball. You didn't have to go recruit. You didn't have to go relationship build with high school coaches and 7-on-7 coaches and family members where you had to win out and recruit. He just was bad at that. Brad Davis is exceptional at that part of it. So when he got the job so late in the process last year and being thrown into the mix with guys that he didn't know that he had to develop and still had to recruit the position was a very tough task and a very tough spot to start from. It looks like that they are finally starting to get their feet underneath them as far as developing depth. Now, they don't have the experience that they want on that line of scrimmage. Mike Denbrock, his background is as an offensive line coach. I wonder if that's a double-edged sword as an offensive line coach. If you're Brad Davis, it's probably good to have your OC with his background as an offensive line coach, but there's also probably a couple of days where it sucks that your OC is a former offensive line coach, just because it might be a little headbutting as far as what you see, but there's also another set of eyeballs and another mind looking at it that you trust and has great experience in that. Being out there last week and seeing that starting group, you had Campbell at the left tackle spot, you had Tremont Shorts at the left guard, you had Garrett Dellinger at the center position, and you had Anthony Bradford at the right tackle spot. Who am I missing at the right guard?
Was it Miles Frazier?
And Miles Frazier, you're right. Miles Frazier at the right guard spot. So that was your starting five. Was left to right was Campbell, Shorts, Dellinger, Frazier, and then Bradford. And from a starting five standpoint, and look, Dellinger picking up the center position I think is going to be, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for him to just learn how to do that. He might be their best offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. I think he out of the five, he's probably, I think Campbell's close. I think Miles Frazier is knocking on the door, but I think that all in all, I think Garrett Dellinger is probably your best offensive lineman, which is why they're asking him to do the toughest task.
Have y'all seen him playing center in practice at all?
A little bit. Last week was my first time to see it. He was not in spring.
Or is he picking it up?
He was out in spring. Yeah, I mean, look, I think, first off, there's responsibilities that come with the center position that when you break the huddle, you got to call the protection, right? So, like, first and foremost, you may not be a vocal guy. Like, as a center, you got to be able to speak.
Yeah.
You got to be able to talk about where either calling out the Mike linebacker, where the strong side of the defense is, or what the protection is going to be because of the front. And as you're walking to the line of scrimmage, you've got to do that. Now in today's world where people don't huddle, you know what I mean? So it doesn't give you the luxury of breaking the huddle and having a chance to kind of survey the field, other than, like, you got to be able to know what you're looking at first and then tell the other four guys what we're about to do, how we're going to protect. Then you have to snap the ball, which is the most important part of the play, right? That gets
got to get the game started.
Ask Ian Book what it's like on a on a QC exchange, how important that is. I mean, he had 2 quarterback center exchange get kicked around on Saturday night for the Saints, and that looks elementary. Yeah. I mean, that looks very. You go see that on a Catholic school league field. Every Sunday in any town. But to see the pros doing that, you've got to get the snap. So Garrett Dellinger first and foremost, you got to call the protection out. Got to break the huddle. Nobody's looking at. See what he's looking at. Tell all the other 4 guys what to do. Right. Then he's got to snap the ball.
Play clock.
Then he's got to get his hands from the ground to protect himself in front of pros. Right? I mean, like the schedule that LSU's playing, the defensive line every week in the SEC is going to be hell to deal with. The guy can play. The guy came in here with solid recruiting credentials, came in, and really last year as a true freshman, he played really hurt. Should have put him on the shelf, should have put him in. That's why he missed spring, is because they had to play him. I mean, he was playing so late into the season rather than getting the surgery early on, rehabbing, redshirting, keeping him on his proper clock.
Talk to it, Daddy.
Don't do it, Daddy.
And now here he is. So, I mean, he seems healthy, but I don't care how good you are of a football player. First and foremost, I think that's probably what they look at Dellinger and say, like, he's the best football player on the offensive line right now. Don't get me wrong. Campbell is just he's potential. I think Campbell's like a potential 1, 2, 3 pick.
Yeah.
It's going to be like
draft.
a stalwart left tackle
Yeah,
where it's
like
like, here's your 10-year.
Whitworth.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
Whitworth.
here's a 10-year guy.
He's Whitworth.
Just take him.
I just keep watching him and Ali Gay. Like, I've watched that clip so many times.
It's unreal.
just like,
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Football porn.
I owe such an apology to Chessa Boucher, who is the on desk at Go Nation at Channel 33, who provided us with that video. And I called her Chelsea like 3 times, bro. I mean, just the brutal mistake of our business. I mean, it's one thing to do it to an athlete that you cover, but to do it with a peer and someone that you do this with, and somebody that I know very well and respect her work. I don't know why I did that.
It's okay. I mean, you called me all good in front of everybody the first time.
Yeah.
So
This is
that
probably
was cool.
probably a little baked. It's all right.
It's
I was
all right.
like,
Yeah.
Relief
we were
Med.
She
friends.
knows what I meant.
Yeah. Reliefmed.com.
Caught a text about 10:03. What's up? It's Chelsea.
It's Chelsea.
In all caps.
Oh
it's
my
Chelsea.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thank you for the
so
video.
brutal. That is so brutal. That
Video
is
was
so,
great.
Yeah, it
What
was
a
great
douche
content.
move by
Yeah,
me, bro.
great
That's
content.
a douche move. Chessa.
you're Brian Kelly.
But she's the one that
Same
shot
mistake.
that. You know, she was the one that provided that content of Gay and Campbell.
Get your
And,
damn
I mean,
hands off
Campbell
me.
like punches
And you
his
can see him
hand
like
off,
still trying to get the mouthpiece out to talk more.
right. And Gay's like, I don't talk.
Yeah, he's just
I mean,
walking away.
Gay looks
Oh, and I think they're having him play like that DN spot.
playing wherever you want.
Oh,
I mean, he looks so good.
you
man.
see him standing up. I'm going the other way, coach. So,
Yeah. And Campbell's like going at him. That's the beautiful part about Campbell. I mean, just
he ain't
on just
backing
physique
down.
alone, I wouldn't mess with Ali Gay. You know what I mean? Forget the fact that he's a projected early second round pick probably today. Mid second round pick. Second round pick, I'd say, could play his way into a first rounder. And that's what you love about Campbell in that offensive line. But back to the offensive line, where obviously they're trying to find their best 5. And I think 3 of their best 5 are in cement. I think Dellinger is going to be on the starting offensive line. I think that Will Campbell is going to be on the starting offensive line. And I think that Miles Frazier is going to be on the offense. I think I'm moving him inside like that to tackle, from tackle, because obviously that's where he came from. They know that they just have to have him on the field, right? And he may not be the best tackle on the team, but he's one of the best 5. And Tremont Shorts, who came over from East Tennessee State, obviously is a guy that sat here and was has played a ton of football. I think his spot, and I think Anthony Bradford's spot, even though Bradford to me is one of the best 5, I don't know if they trust him just yet. But as far as physical ability, he's one of your best 5. He's got to play. And Bradford's always had that.
Yeah.
He's always had that part. It just needed to all come together for him. And hopefully this is the time where, look, if he could get it all together, man, he's your starting right tackle. Leave him alone. Just play.
God, he's 6'5".
He's and an athlete.
Jeez.
Like, he's an athlete. If Bradford and Campbell are your 2 tackles,
I mean,
Feel pretty good about
you're
it.
good, man. You're good.
Kick Miles Frazier inside.
And then if I'm Tremont Shorts, I'm worried about Emory Jones, because here comes
my
Emory
goodness.
Jones, man. And I don't know if he starts against Florida State. I don't know if he plays against Florida State. But by the middle of September, it's going to be tough for me to fathom that he's in not some sort of rotation or that he ain't the guy. Because
Who did
he
Grant
just,
kick the other
dude,
day?
man, I mean, he
Oh,
just...
he got Jacoby and Guillory.
Yeah, he
A
got
couple
him.
of times.
Like-
But that's not the only one he's bodied. I mean, a couple of
No,
guys,
no.
after I talked to a couple of guys, I just kind of given my recap to some of the guys that were out there. They were like, I was just telling about what we saw from Emory Jones, and they were like, Coach, that's every day.
He's just
Every
out there
day.
laying
Every
on
day.
people.
Every day. And everybody just, the mentality, it's Will Campbell effect. When Campbell showed up, people could not get over his mentality. Within the first 2 or 3 weeks in the program, I mean, people were like, when's it gonna stop?
It's like the Trevor Penning effect.
Yeah, like what's going on here,
No, I'm
man? I mean, like
nasty.
this.
I'm
I mean, you
nasty.
heard
I'm a
Brad.
mean,
You heard
nasty
Brad
dude.
Davis. Every single meeting he's had since the day that Campbell has shown up, he's been 15 minutes early. Davis walks in the room. Campbell's there every day. Now, when Davis
I'm
walks
here,
in the room,
Coach.
there's 2 guys in the room. Jones and Campbell.
I'm here, coach.
You know what I mean?
Ready.
Dip cup. Yeah.
You know, now it's Emory Jones that's sitting right next to Will Campbell because, like Emory Jones sat right there and said, they've been talking about this since they've been sophomores in high school. Both of those guys have envisioned the day when they are starters on LSU's offensive line, and they're the anchors of the group. They've been talking about it now for 3 years. They've spoken it into existence because it's here, and everybody that's over them, watching them, coaching them, teaching them has said it's only a matter of time before that happens, and it might be 3 weeks from yesterday. I mean, bro, we play football. LSU plays football 3 weeks from yesterday. We are inside of a 3-week window. And maybe Emory Jones still has enough time to snipe Tremont Shorts or somebody out of that starting role, but it's going to be impossible to keep Jones off of the field by mid-September. By the time Mississippi State and LSU kick it off, Emory Jones is going to be the starter on the offensive line, in my opinion.
And Katie's going to be wearing a full LSU uniform.
Yeah.
Still
Be a big
waiting
day
on
for
that.
you.
That is a big day for
It
you.
is a
It'd
big
be a
day
big
if
day
y'all
for you.
get your shit together and get the
Oh,
uniform.
it's here.
Oh,
man.
yeah. All right.
I mean, it's on y'all.
No.
I'm ready.
Oh, so you full regalia.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm going through with the bet that I lost. Why would I not? But
And
it's up to y'all to get the
we're still doing
uniform
baseball
together.
uniform at the football game?
Yeah.
Oof.
He's very sure.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
That's tough.
That's a tough move.
People are going to think that you might need to, get checked in
It's
somewhere.
weird
They're
as
gonna be
hell.
like,
I'm going, and I say we go stirrup socks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
black.
You're gonna
You
look
have
like
a
a
glove.
crazy
I am
person.
black.
Yeah, you're going to look like a crazy person.
A crazy person.
Then you're going to go into the suites up top, and they're going to be like, "What?
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
gonna look
okay?"
extra crazy.
Is this
Yeah.
lady supposed to be
Can of
here?
dip in the back.
You should just walk on over to Alex Box and just hang out there. That's where you should tailgate. And you're just like, "Oh, that was a baseball
Signing
game today."
autographs.
Yeah, that was a baseball
Under a
game
tent.
today. What are y'all here for?
That's a hard
25
game for
cents
me.
a picture.
Yeah, have y'all not seen what Jay Johnson did on the recruiting trail?
See, I'll just
LSU
do-
baseball
I'll do my own
365.
little live
They
stream
finally
from
find that
over
third
there.
baseman.
Pitcher hitter.
But LSU has finally found their left tackle
Do you
in
think-
Will Campbell. No doubt about it.
If
And a little bit, let me just close out
Yep.
this thought on the offensive line, and then I want to get to that. But they've built depth. I mean, like, we haven't even talked about Cam Wire. I think Cam Wire has the most starts on LSU's offensive line, and it may be combined.
That's what I was going to ask about Cam Wire.
Like, how much – I just think
disappeared
look, man, I
almost.
think if Anthony Bradford's right and then Will Campbell's there, he's just in a tough spot. He's good. I think he's got good experience. They probably trust him, but he's not as good as those two guys.
and it's the offensive line. You're going
Yeah.
to see all of them because it's rarely. I mean, you saw it last year where I think they had the same starting five, only
games.
one that played back to back, like played in consecutive weeks one time. So you obviously see like a shuffle that happens because those guys aren't going to stay healthy. It's just the nature of the position, right? So to be able to actually have some depth on the offensive line is a good thing.
Yeah.
like
No, I mean-
all these guys are going to play
Well, I mean-
at one point or another.
Even Cardell Thomas the other day got some run with the second and third team, and I mean, like, it's
Flashes.
got to be here,
Yeah, it's
you know.
starting
But
to-
I
it
mean,
gotta be clicking.
he's getting some reps, he's getting some run. So I mean, he's a guy that I think that they would like to develop into some depth type playing. The thing that the obvious concern for me up front is going to be center. Is going to be can Dellinger catch on? I think very much he is talented enough to do that job. You know, that like I said, I think it's top 3 most important position on a football team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I would put quarterback, safety, center,
I'd go
Corner.
quarterback corner.
corner.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about from a mental standpoint. You know what I mean?
Communication-wise.
I mean, like, your football teams need to be built up the middle. You need to be strong up the middle. Your running back, your quarterback, your center, your nose, your middle linebacker, and your safety need to be, in my opinion, very much aligned, or need to be some dogs. You know, and if one's not, you need to have Sean Taylor somewhere. Or you need to have Jamal Adams. You need to have Leonard Fournette. You need to have
Ed Reed.
Jamarcus Russell. You need to have Claude Roten. You need to have Glenn Dorsey. You know what I mean? Whoever it may be, you need to at those positions you need to be strong, right?
Devin White. And that's what you get, like middle linebacker, you talk about being strong up the middle. Mike Jones is going to be able to, we've had him in here, you've seen him in media, he's going to be able to communicate everything so well. You know that you have somebody that's going to know the defense and be able to communicate on that end. So you're good there. I was going to ask you to pivot back to offensive line. If Emory Jones was able to early enroll,
Yeah, I think
don't
he'd be
you
a
think
starter.
he was a starter?
Yeah, I do.
Catholic's got to get that thing figured out.
I do. Same with Shelton Sampson. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, like Shelton Sampson's going to have to finish his senior season. And look, I think that there's a couple of ways to look at it, but Emory Jones is so advanced that he may be able to beat the curve
Yeah.
You know, like if he's not
Too good to ignore.
if he's not starting Florida State, he's knocking on the door for Southern, and he'll probably be starting by Mississippi State.
Yeah.
You know, he's just, obviously the physical profile of Jones and Campbell when they walk into the room, you're kind of taken back. And let me just say this: even Bo Bordelon, I think, has had. I've heard some good things about him, and he's had some pretty good reps early in camp. I saw a one-on-one with him and Quincy last week, where. It's going to be great to see those two guys develop and come up as, but they'll probably mirror one another's kind of, rise. So, yes, what were you talking about, the depth on the offensive line?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're building it. They're building it. So, I just wanted to finish that thought on the offensive line from last week on how, to me, a position and a group of so much uncertainty that we've talked about a couple of times seems to be firming up a lot of depth and seems to be finding. I think that you announce, or at least internally, they'll probably know who the starting quarterback is by the end of the week. Mm. At some point, maybe Saturday scrimmage, maybe Saturday scrimmage will because Nussmeier's back full strength. He's a full go this week. And kind of judging by what we saw late last week at the open practice, and then just getting some feedback from the people that we're able to talk to in and around LSU and around the facility, is that this is, like we said last week, between Nussmeier and Daniels, as Coach Kelly said last week during his presser, that Nussmeier would have gotten those first-team reps or some first-team reps while he was away. But Jaden Daniels, you can see that they're working on his footwork to continue to work on throwing the football. But, after watching Daniels last week, like we said, he's all of 6'4" that he's listed at. His throwing motion is there. He can run it. He's a dual threat guy. You can definitely win college games and SEC games with him as your quarterback. I think this is a huge week for the quarterback competition. I think getting Nussmeier back full speed and into first team reps and how you divvy those up is really going to dictate how this thing crosses the finish line, which I think could happen. Saturday scrimmage early next week. At some point, you got to start turning your focus towards Florida State, and you can't do that with position competition, especially at that spot, right? Like, you got to know what it's going to be. I think that the style of play changes around the quarterback just slightly, whether it's Daniels or Nussmeier. I think with Daniels' true ability to be mobile back there, wide receivers still keeping plays alive and extending the field, things, you play a little different depending on who your personnel is or who's playing next to you. And, for the comfort and security of the group alone, I think that a decision internally, maybe not to the press and maybe not for Florida State to start game planning on, but at least internally, I think they make a decision of, here's the guy, here's who we're planning with, who LSU's game planning with and getting prepared for Florida State with. And I think this is a very critical week for that. This is a huge week for that. Remember Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, our friend Edward Jones, over at Edward Jones, Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. You can find him there. Get in touch with our financial advisor. Let him help you out with any fiscal advice that you may be searching for. You can find him and email him today at daniel.newman at edwardjones.com, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. And remember, if you work within the in the industrial space, he's got great experience there. He can help you out with any of the financial questions that you may have, whether it's life after work or some investment strategies that you may be looking for with some cash or some money that you have laying around. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. We'll talk New Orleans Saints coming up here at 8:30 as Ross Jackson of Locked On Saints podcast is going to stop by here at 8:30. If you have any questions about the New Orleans Saints or want to hear something specifically about the game on Saturday night, 17-13 Saints fall. Some positive takeaways. I thought Andy Dalton and the starting group really looked fresh, man. They really looked good as they just kind of moved the ball very easily down the field, capped off by a opening possession score. And that was the only possession that Dalton was on the field. Going on?
I'm laughing thinking about what Ron said last night about the running back that fumbled like on the goal line.
He's the same guy that scored, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Ron was like, yeah, he's getting cut.
Yeah, I mean, there's chances whenever you do something in a preseason game, one thing that either pops or you do something that's a massive mistake. It's like, he's on the chopping block, or I just won myself a spot on the roster.
Like this linebacker, Chase Hansen. I mean, this guy. I mean, I've never heard of Chase Hansen before Saturday night.
I think he went to maybe Wisconsin.
Chase Hansen looked like Wisconsin.
Oh, Utah.
Or Utah.
Yeah.
Wisconsin or Utah.
Utah.
The Utes.
The Utes.
Did
he go on his mission yet?
No Derek Stingley.
It's BYU. The Utes are fine.
They have it too.
Do they?
Yeah, but not as much as BYU.
No,
Yeah,
no.
right.
They're
more of a football school over in Utah.
Absolutely. Old Whittingham wants them to play ball.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go on their mission now with Zach Wilson. A little knee injury, maybe get out there, go see.
Good news
see
for
parents.
Wilson, though.
Yeah.
Good news for
Go
Wilson.
see some parents.
Yeah,
It did not look like an MCL when the
anytime it's
video.
non-contact like that,
Well,
it's kind of scary you.
It looked like it kind of gave on him.
Look like you when you stand up over here, sleepy legs.
Peg leg.
Yeah.
Kid's got a peg leg.
It's going down.
But I thought the Saints, first off, the defense, man, it's tough to fathom how. I thought Marcus May looked great in 6. It's tough to fathom how good they're going to be when Matthew gets out there in just the defensive backfield. I mean, Lattimore, Adebo, May, and Matthew. Give me a break, bro.
CJ, Chancey Gardner.
Yeah.
In the slot, just bothering people.
I mean,
hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Demario Davis wasn't there on Saturday night, but I mean the defense flies around. They got some depth there. They got some guys. We're going to talk to Ross Jackson about all of that. So if you have any storylines, if you have any people, any players, any personnel that you were curious about, like Reed Wilson, Abram Smith, who was averaging over 4 yards per carry, the running back and kind of specialty player from Baylor. Is going to be there, or is at least going to have a chance.
Is that the guy who played linebacker and running
Yeah,
back?
he's like played everything. He's got that crazy story. He's kind of like he can help you in the specialist game. He can help you running back. He can help you anywhere. I mean, he can help you a lot of spots. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. We'll be right back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. As we said, we'll talk New Orleans Saints coming up here in the second hour. We will talk some more LSU football as the Tigers are back out on the practice field this morning. Coach Brian Kelly will meet with the press today at around noon, and we are inside of 3 weeks. Remember our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook. You see the QR code in the top right of our screen. We've mentioned kickoff for LSU Florida State is under 3 weeks. If you want 4 tickets to LSU Florida State, you have a chance from our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook in an enter to win chance right now. If you just walk your screen up to the QR code right there in the top right of the corner of this YouTube, the Caesar Sportsbook will open up. Use the promo code JCLSU15, JCLSU15, if you want a chance to win 4 tickets to LSU Florida State for the weekend opener, Labor Day weekend opener of college football, week 1. Week 0 is 2 weeks away, bro. I mean, college football's here.
Yep.
And then we're giving you a chance from our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook to go to the last the last New Orleans Saints, only New Orleans Saints home preseason game versus the Chargers on August 26th. You want 4 tickets to that? JCSaints15 is the promo code. You need to have an email per sign-up. If you've already signed up for Sportsbook, odds are you got another email. You got to use that one to sign up. If you want both the LSU and Saints tickets, you're going to need another email. So an email per sign-up for our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook. And to be entered to win, you got to make a bet. You got to make a deposit. You got to make a bet over at Caesar Sportsbook. So get in, sign up, make the deposit, make the bet, and then have a chance to win 4 tickets, whether it's to LSU Florida State in the opening weekend or the Saints Chargers in the home debut of the Saints here in 2022 under Dennis Allen. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, he lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
But this opportunity was different. You have a chance to come to a place with unbelievable tradition, work for the winningest head coach in college football. Just be at a state. I've never been at a state where football's king, and if you just dominate your state, you're going to get some of the best players that there are.
Sure.
Yeah, so I think, getting through spring, I mean, most of it was obviously just installing the offense. And I think all 4 guys really made some strides in terms of that and showed a lot of positives, obviously, which, you guys get to talk about all the time. So you guys,
Sure.
But all 4 have done a great job. They did. I think they really did a really nice job in spring of taking strides forward individually, and everybody's different in terms of what they need to get better at and what they need to show, and then move it into summer. And I love the way they're working right now in the weight room for Coach Flint. But like I said, I think spring a lot was. Everything was new for everybody. So especially at the beginning, there wasn't as much evaluation, say the first few days, get into the flow, and then I think we got some good opportunities for some guys to get some reps, and I think everybody showed some positives.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8255 8022. 8Bears Lawn Maintenance.
All right. Insidious. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, talking about some competition within the LSU offense. We're going to open it up and talk to our friend from The Athletic, Brody Miller, who does a great job covering the program. Make sure you are subscribed here for football season, people. If you have not gotten your subscription over at The Athletic, you need to do that here. Going in, as we told you, we're under 3 weeks to kickoff between LSU and Florida State inside of the Caesars Superdome. Remember our Caesars Sportsbook promo codes. If you're looking to get into that LSU Florida State game, JCLSU15 with a chance to win 4 tickets. Got to make a bet. Got to make a deposit over there at the sportsbook to be eligible.
Hammer the overs in the preseason. They've gone crazy. It's like 16
and the 7.5 wins. Let's go to Brody Miller, who I believe is on I-10 heading into Baton Rouge here. As LSU is going to have a practice open yet again to the media here on this Monday morning. And we'll have the media here for Brian Kelly's press conference at around noon today. Brody, good morning. How are we feeling, buddy?
Hey, how are you guys doing? I'm doing well today.
I'm doing good, buddy. All right, we were talking about, first off, Brody, what do you make of this media access that LSU has here? This is something that obviously we have had a job to cover the program for the last couple of years together. What do you make of the access that Brian Kelly has allowed here in the first fall camp?
Yeah, I mean, it's genuinely kind of shocking, not just because of LSU history, right, where going back to Saban in the late 90s, that, Saban basically created the entire blueprint for how every SEC team handles media. And it's very little access, no assistance, all this stuff. And now not just you get some practice, okay, that's one thing. To get assistant coaches pretty often, to be able to watch actual scrimmages, and kind of just removing this kind of silly paranoia that, like, media being there is going to, like, release state secrets. The way I always put it is, like, whatever you're doing that's complicated enough that you don't want other teams seeing, we're not smart enough to understand anyway. So it's like we're not doing it anyway, but no, it's shocking. And obviously there's a little bit probably of new coach gaining goodwill, that kind of stuff. Sure, there's a little bit of that. I think you have to be a little cynical there. But no, for now, I think it's a really smart move, and it's leading to better coverage across the board.
We talked about the offensive line in hour number one, or we're still in hour number one, but a couple of minutes ago, we're talking in depth about the offensive line. What have you seen from that unit here with the access?
The way I think I've said this on your show before, so forgive me, but the way I kind of look at it is I do feel like they have options. And I think there have been a lot of years where it's like they only have 5 or 6 players, and I don't really like any of them that much. And I think right now I see a group that, I think I would trust 8 guys on the field. Do I know if any of those guys are actual above-average, top-tier SEC linemen? No, I'm not sure. So I feel like the floor is a lot higher. I feel like you can trust a lot of this group. I really like what they're doing with the cross-training to be able to, it's because it's the cliche line, but get the best 5 guys in the field. And hypothetically, if Garrett Dellinger really is working out at center, which so far all indications are good, Kelly's spoken highly, I think that's a huge win, because that's one of your 3 probably best linemen, and you're erasing a huge. So I like what they have. I like, and what's been interesting, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but it feels like it's a line of maulers. It's Bradford, Shorts, Turner, Dellinger at center. Those guys are kind of get in your face, punch you in the mouth guard types, right? So I almost wonder how much that's intentional of kind of creating kind of a run-heavy RPO kind of scheme because they want to punch you in the mouth a bit. And that's me speculating. But, yeah, I feel like it's a steady line. I just don't know how great it can be.
How long will it take Emory Jones to crack the top 5?
Say that again?
How long will it take Emory Jones to crack the top 5?
Man, yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think all of us kind of thought, hey, if there's one sneaky guy, it's him, and he's really been impressive. He looks the part. He's just so athletic. I think it might take him a bit to crack the top 5 just because it's tough, right? But the fact that he's a true freshman, it might be he's probably in that top 6 or 7, that means he's going to play. Like, that's just how it works. He will see the field. So, first off, yeah, none of those jobs are set in stone at all. He could totally get in the top 5. I guess I wouldn't put my money on it, but he is going to see the field, and that says so much about that 2022 offensive line class, which is going to be the backbone of kind of, in a way, the backbone of the Ryan Kelly rebuild.
Speaking of offensive line, 5-star offensive lineman Zalance Hurd out of Neville has just announced that he is making his commitment on September 1st. So he has announced his commitment date coming up. That is the big target for LSU up in Monroe at Neville High School, September 1st for Zalance Hurd. Talking to Brody Miller here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, Brody, from the quarterback spot, obviously all the eyeballs when the media given access, and as much access as we've been given, a lot of people hanging out looking at that part of the field. What have you seen from that competition?
Yeah, and again, I don't want to get caught making too much of what we saw Saturday, but I do think there's some reading between the lines to do that I think a lot of us, and I believe you included, have kind of gotten a sense it felt like it, even before Saturday, just talking to people in the program, that it felt like it was really Daniels versus Nussmeier. And Brennan was maybe the third guy. And then to see Saturday's camp, and with Nussmeier out, minor injuries, already back, with him out, Daniels take in the actual, all of the first team reps pretty much. And Brennan worked pretty much with second team, walk-on receivers, all that stuff. And then for Kelly to say, yeah, if Nussmeier was there, he would have been work with the first team too. So you're saying if Nuss was there, he'd work with the first team, but Brennan didn't. So I think we can kind of narrow that down. And sure, it might change, but that's what it feels like. And I thought Jaden Daniels, quite frankly, I don't think he looked like some amazing passer, but I was really concerned in the spring. I think there was a lot of things in the spring with his passing where I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work. I do think I saw that look a lot better so far in this camp. I think you are seeing him make quick decisions better, read a defense, make a confident throw down the middle of the field. So I think Jaden Daniels looks like a really good option. The stuff he brings, RPOs and all that, is really relevant. But I also don't think it's over. I think Garrett Nussmeier, just because he was out of sight, out of mind, I think a lot of people are like, it's Daniels now? And I think Nussmeier has an it factor. It's really great, and I think he's totally still in it.
No, I'm with you. And I think that from just a natural pass thrower, the most impressive is Walker Howard, right? I mean, the ball just jumps out of the kid's hand.
No, it's true. I mean, he's looked really good. I remember in the spring, so much of it was I heard people say, man, he's just trying to figure out where, the cafeteria is.
Yeah.
But now you're seeing a different tone of, oh, wow, he's really – his thumb's obviously healthier. That helps. And, he just looks like a guy who could start for a lot of teams in the country, a lot of Group of 5 schools. He's good. He's the real deal. And it's going to be so fascinating, not that this matters right now, but to see next year come 2023, Walker Howard versus most likely Garrett Nussmeier for that quarterback job. What a good position for LSU to be in.
Brody, how impressive is the defensive line, seeing them work out all together? We didn't see the full collection of them in spring, but now being so close to them in a team environment like we were on Thursday, I left the practice facility more impressed with that group than anything that I saw on the field.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I'm just getting more and more to the point where I'm like, when I go on our athletic shows or talk to other people or we do our round tables, and it's just like, hey, I just think it is the best defensive line in the SEC. Georgia's elite, Bam has Will Anderson, but I'm just like, how many D-lines, basically your entire front four could be first or second round picks, and they also complement each other so well. My strongest take is I think by the end of this year, Mason Smith is considered the no-brainer number 1 prospect in next year's draft. I just think by the end of this year, people are going to know him as the way we talked about Jordan Davis last year. Obviously different players, but still, he is that special. And to have, I think you can't undervalue what, because he was still learning last year. Then he moved around. I don't think you can undervalue what having his presence inside is going to open up for Ali Gay. He's going to open up for B.J. Ojulari, and obviously Jalen Roy. I just think it's a D-line where there's nobody you can really focus on double-teaming because somebody else is going to take over. So, yeah, I think this team, the only hope this team has of being like an actual 10-win kind of team is because this D-line is just elite.
No doubt about it. And the most impressive part about them, to me, leaving on Thursday was that, like, guys like Desmond Little and Savion Jones, like Quincy even, are going to be tough in spots to keep off the field. Third down situation, just the depth. I mean, they're going to come at you in so many waves. To me, this is why I believe our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook set the over and under at 7.5 wins for LSU because of that defensive line. To me, Brody, I think that they are blowout proof. I don't think that you can get blown out at LSU because of just how good they are at that part of the game on the line of scrimmage. And that's why I betted over. I took the over of the 7.5. If you were at the window right now, would you go over or under 7.5 wins for LSU on this upcoming season?
Yeah, 7.5 gets tough. I have seen some books at 7, but you're paying juice for the over, all that. Like, I would feel more comfortable with that because I think I have a hard time seeing 9, right? So I think it's probably in that 7-8 range. Not hard, just, it's a tough schedule. Answer your question. I think 8-4 is my feeling. So yeah, for the fun of it, I would take that over. Because the thing I go back to is, obviously I don't think they win all these games, but in a vacuum, LSU is probably favored in 10 of 12 games. And now those are marginal favorites, but still, like, they're probably better than a lot of teams. Auburn and Florida are in flux. Now, granted, Arkansas and teams like Mississippi State are tougher than you realize, and they're going to be pretty solid this year. And A&M's really good, but it does just feel like they are a team that, on their best night, they're the second or third best team in that division. So I go 8-4, but 7-5 also seems possible.
Colby Richardson's name has popped early on here in camp. Anybody else that you've seen out there that has jumped off to you?
Good question. You mentioned Savion Jones. Obviously, we don't need to explore that again. But, man, if there's someone you're buying stock in, it's probably him just for the future. I think Kyron Lacey just deserves a shout-out just because I think he kind of had been brushed aside a little by the end of spring, wasn't really talked about much, and probably still is only going to be the 6th whatever receiver. But he did look really good Saturday, made a few just really explosive plays, and he looked good in the scrimmages in the spring to end the year. I think he's a guy who kind of adds a slightly different element than they had, so he looks solid. But no, Colby Richardson, it's always tricky when you're like, all right, am I really going to hype up this walk-on? Because it's like, okay, what does that really mean? But no, he looks like a guy who can play. He can see the field. Do I think he's going to, would you be psyched if he's your starting corner? Of course not, but he looked really good. And I think another thing just that's interesting is Major Burns as of now, that first team sets over Joe Fuchsia next to Jay Ward at safety. I think that's just really interesting. Obviously, all 3 of those guys are SEC starters, so you can't really go wrong. But I'm just really intrigued by that.
The depth at wide receiver is also impressive to see up close. Even without Jack Besh available right now, it's a very deep, productive, and impressive group. What have you made of Kayshawn and crew?
Man, yeah, I feel more confident in it even than I did, because before it was like, okay, they're so talented, but still, those guys are young. You don't know if they're going to be, that group of sophomores. You don't know if they're going to, be great yet, and I'm starting to get there where I really think they can be. I think Malik Neighbors is probably the guy I'd put the most confidence in to have that holy crap year. I love the idea of moving him in the slot. I love what that might create mismatch wise and kind of get that explosiveness out there. I think Trey Jenkins gets slept on way too much, but he's a very good starting receiver. And I think Brian Kelly's comments on Brian Thomas were fascinating, genuinely, because he basically was just coming out saying this guy could be an elite receiver. He still needs to get over that hump. But I just can't keep going back to, if Ryan Thomas is receiver number 5 and he is a physical freak and can do some things that no one else really can, that's a really, really good position to be in if he's your third rotation guy. Because in Besh, obviously, we know what he is. So, yeah, I think obviously D-line's unit number 1, but receivers number 2 for me in their strengths.
Brody, after that press conference last week where Kelly was talking about the time that the media had the extended coverage on Thursday, and he mentioned some of the comments, it might have even been to your question of where Brian Thomas fits in, and his remarks on Thomas about how they need him to think like a starter and that they need him to shake the freshman kind of blues of last season and kind of, I don't know if they were telling him to grow up, but they were telling them that they expect him to be grown up when the season started. Also, the things that he said about Kyron Lacey of, embracing the confidence, knowing how good you are. Just in the early days of covering Kelly here, we were talking as a group last week on Friday morning of just how good of a communicator he seems to be, whether it was on the practice field watching him work or hearing him through some of the press conferences. What have you made of covering Brian Kelly through the first 7 months on the job since he's been here at LSU?
Yeah, no, it's a real thing. I mean, I'm a very big soccer fan, and I think the thing some European soccer managers are the best at are using press conferences to basically send a message to players and light a fire. And you have seen that with Brian Kelly so many times already. And granted, Keyshawn Butte was going to be a great player anyway, but like his call out to him, and then how quickly things changed with Keyshawn, how great of shape Keyshawn looks now, and then and there's multiple examples of this. It does, and he has a history of this, by the way. He had a very big history with receivers in general, but Michael Floyd's a famous example where he would constantly kind of be like, Michael Floyd, like publicly say, Michael Floyd needs to learn how to practice. Michael Floyd needs to work on discipline, all that. And obviously Michael Floyd became an elite receiver. But yeah, it's very noticeable how he has, again, I don't want to give him too much credit, but still, he has a plan. He goes into a press conference or gets a question and thinks, he knows, I need to get more out of this guy. Here's what I'm going to do. And he does seem to have a plan for maximizing a lot of these guys. So accountability's been the buzzword we've all kind of used to the ground, but there is something really there. I do think you're going to see a bit more of players meeting their potential.
Brody Miller. I'm sorry, Brody, did I get you? You broke up a little bit. We're good. Brody Miller coming in this morning from New Orleans to Baton Rouge, covering LSU's practice. We appreciate it, Brody. As Brody stays safe, and we will see him this morning in Baton Rouge. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Brody A. Miller for all of the updates there from The Athletic. As that was good. That was good insight there from Brody here as he's making his way back down here to Baton Rouge for another day and another practice here for LSU as the Tigers get back on the practice field today. And as we said, today will also be a big day of announcements, or this week, at least early on this week, will be a big day of announcements here on Monday and Tuesday for the Jordy Culotta Show. We'll be at Woodlawn High School today, 2 o'clock, taking part in the live announcement from Jordan Matthews, who is set to decide between Michigan, Tennessee, and Texas. That'll go live here on the station at 2 o'clock. And then tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the campus of St. James High School, Kai Preen will announce his commitment to either LSU, Auburn, Mississippi State, or Florida State tomorrow evening down in Vacherie, and we'll be making the trip down there tomorrow to bring that to you live. So easiest way to catch all of that is to just subscribe to the channel.
YouTube channel.
Once you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure and hit that alert button there, as you will be notified every time we go live. So anything that comes off of the channel, any type of content that you may be looking for, whether it's LSU, New Orleans Saints, or even recruiting, you can catch it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show YouTube channel. We will talk New Orleans Saints coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Looking forward to catching up with Ross Jackson, our friend from Locked On Saints podcast. Make sure you are following to keep up with the latest in what's going on with the Saints. We'll recap, obviously, last weekend's game versus the Houston Texans. No Derek Stingley Jr. on the field. He did go through warm-ups, so you did have a chance to see him in the uni. Great picture of him in the Badger from after the game that we have up on our Instagram if you want to follow it over there at Culotta Show. But a little LSU love down on the Houston Texans field last night. Saints fall 17-13. Obviously, it's preseason action, and we will talk to Ross Jackson all about that coming up here at the end of hour number 2. If you have anything specifically about the Saints that you want to hear about, hashtag Ask Ross, and we will ask RJ coming up here at 8:30 any of the Saints questions that you have pending here. But before they take off to Lambeau, they are heading up to joint practices this week with the Green Bay Packers. That'll be capped off by preseason game number 2 next weekend versus the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. As it'll be good to hear, good to see, good to get the feedback from some joint practices in the NFL this week, and we will catch it all. We catch up all of it with Ross Jackson coming up here at 8:30. We'll take a break. We'll be right back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered as always by Go Chevrolet.
Jameis, don't drink after Aaron Rodgers. You don't know what's in that cup.
Maybe do it.
Maybe do it. Jameis on ayahuasca would be electric. I mean, it'd just be like, I don't know what's going on, man.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Sports with it.
It's just like anything else. I mean, I don't want to get into hyperbole, but it's, everything is. I mean, frankly, I'm still worried more about concussions. We don't talk about it much anymore, but we've kind of helped solve it in a lot of ways and make the game a lot safer. So anytime we have existential threats, which this one could or could not be, we just deal with it, and we will deal with it. It's just part of the game, and I don't mind a lot of what's come out of this movement of doing more for the student athletes, but like anything else, it boomerangs a little too far. And you got to swing it back into, hey, what we do for the student athletes. And it's a hell of a lot. And I'm proud of that fact that that we are leaders in doing that. But we're going to do it right. You know, the Tiger Athletic Foundation and in partnership, obviously, hand in hand with what we do, funded a master plan study because I wanted to see, hey, what we needed, and I just didn't want my opinion. I've been a few places, and I have a good one, I think. But you just want to see how and what our needs are. And so we're in that process of looking at it. And obviously, the PMAC is 50 years old this year and probably needs some updating. It's got good bones, and maybe we can see what we can do with that. Same thing with all that property that we have both down Nicholson and where we are currently on Nicholson and North Stadium, is that, hey, is this the proper use and best use for that? Mm-hmm. And hand in hand with the university and what we do with TAF, we'll make those decisions, and we'll be prudent and thinking about what and how we do. Yeah, it's kind of weird in a perverse way, Jordy, you know me well, is that I kind of relish in change, and I do like it. I'm one of the few people that embraces it, and we're very lucky at LSU to have it, to be where we are and to be able to do that. I mean, I can't say that for everyone in the business because it is unsettling in a lot of ways. But for us, change is a good thing, and I think we're going to be the beneficiary of it. And it's not gonna stop. It's just going to keep on going. Yeah. And I'd be lying to you if I told you I had a crystal ball and can tell you what was going on and what's going to happen. But we're going to be here, and we're going to embrace it, and we're going to take advantage of it the best we can.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
I was excited to come to a top level program. I've been at a lot of great places, been very fortunate in my career, but to really say that you have an opportunity every year, once we get it rolling, to win a national championship, there's not very many places that you can say that. So for him to offer me the opportunity to come with him to LSU was nothing but humility and gratitude. Some Sunday players in that room. But again, it's got to be the total package, the total process of buy-in, of understanding what we're trying to get done, figuring out how we wanted to get done, but also allowing those guys to be able to play with instincts. For example, I think Jay Ward is long and athletic. He's very versatile. He's played corner, played nickel, played safety. Very excited about Joe Fouché, one of the transfer guys that we came in because he has a dimension of physicality. Major Burns, fortunate enough that he was able to come back home. Again, he's long, he's athletic, so he gives you flexibility between both field and boundary safeties. And then you've got some guys that you can throw in like Brooks, Sage, Derek Davis. Todd Harris is a guy that's been around for a while. So I think that we have enough in that room to be successful. But again, you still want to continue to grow and be able to push each point.
Yeah, well, I think it starts here, and we have a good bit of people on this particular staff who are from Louisiana, who know and believe in our hearts that this place produces the best football players in the country, and I think the numbers speak for themselves. Per capita, produce the most NFL players, you know what I mean? So even from an analytical standpoint, it makes sense to take the kids from here because the chances of them playing in the league are higher than if they come from anywhere else. I think our brand is super powerful, so we will have to recruit at a national level, or there's really no reason that we shouldn't, you know what I mean? Because if we can get a top player from another state who can help us win a championship, then of course, right? But I think it starts right here in Louisiana and then right here in Baton Rouge. There's some really good players who are still available that are right here.
Without the crook. Are we live? Yeah. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Check them out. Check our friends out over at GoFlow, Brad.
No press conference today either.
What's that?
No press conference today. I'm looking at the schedule. Just first 30 minutes.
Oh, really? Because on the schedule up there, it's
August 15th, right? I am right. August 15th.
It's the 15th.
Yeah, just practice. Practice number 10.
I told y'all.
Tried to tell you.
Go cover that press conference. Brody Miller's driving in for this.
That's right. Brody, turn around.
Brody's driving in for the first 30 minutes of practice.
Is he still rocking the stash?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Commit.
He's
very well manicured. Almost looks like he fits in. Peter Burns still rocking his.
He does. Really? It's turning him into like a character.
Well, I told him now he's like embraced the dad.
Yeah.
Like he looks so much like a dad now.
Yeah, he does. I like it though.
I do too.
I do too.
I do too.
It changed your personality.
It's tough to pull it off.
It is tough to pull it off. I don't usually like a mustache.
You got to commit to it.
Except
You can't be in and out on the
I
stash.
think I'm going to shave my beard and just go full.
No, Stewie, no.
It's good.
What if
You got a good beard,
no,
Stewie.
just stash it. You got a great beard.
Weird,
Great
yeah.
beard.
I'd look weird.
Yeah, I think it would look weird.
Yeah, you need friends like that to tell you that.
Yeah,
don't do that.
You
You
got a
look
good
weird.
visor look though, because you've got the hair. Not many people can pull off a visor.
Oh, Stewie, you're made for a
visor.
visor.
Good visor.
Thank you.
I don't
It's a
like
visor
a visor.
room.
Yeah,
Lloyd,
visor room.
Lloyd, you're a one
Yeah,
seed.
you
I
can
am.
do a visor.
Big
Well,
visor
it is
guy.
the one seed.
What? Let's go, coach.
He pushed me to wear the visor.
Yeah, you got to change your horizon sometimes. You know the visor game.
I
They
think
got a
of
good little, and they
visors
fit
as,
well.
like men in flip flops and jeans, like we talked about Friday.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's like a guy
Yeah.
walking around in a visor
With
for no
this
reason.
type of shirt on,
Yes, there you go.
fishing shirt on,
Flip-flops.
ready, boys.
I'm either leaving practice or going to practice. It's one of the two.
The Magellan.
Yeah, Magellan shirt.
No.
The fishing shirt.
Oh God.
Well, you know, like
PFG.
the only time you could really wear a visor is like if you're doing something like athletic, right? You don't wear them to like the beach. There's no way that's like, oh, got my visor on.
Oh.
Like,
You know how many people wear
I was
visors
about
to the
to
beach?
Boy, that's a bad take.
no,
That's
I'm
a bad
saying,
take. That's a
That's
bad
I'm saying
take.
for
That's a terrible
me,
take.
that's not how I use them. It's only when it's like
Right.
something athletic. I don't like walk around with visors on. I don't think I don't wear hats.
There's people
Right,
that
you
walk
don't.
around with visors.
Yeah,
There are
I
plenty
think that's
of
a
people
tough
that walk
look.
around with visors.
That's what they do. Like they wear visors every day.
Yeah,
Different
visors
ones.
every. See, I
Brock
think
TV,
it's just for
Stewie
sport.
giving off Kevin Sumlin vibes. I see it.
Where's the
I see it.
helicopter?
Look,
I
I'm
see
not
it.
going 8-4 though, Coach.
Get that hey, coach, get that bank account and go 8-4 to the day you die.
Yeah, that's true. Just get you
Where
one
is
Johnny
Kevin
Manziel.
Sumlin now?
Rich.
Arizona?
I don't know where he is, but he's rich. No, they fired him in Arizona.
Oh, tough look for the guy.
I mean, at this point, just tap out.
Yeah.
He is the head
Kinda
coach of the
like,
Houston
oh.
Gamblers in the USFL.
Wow.
Hey, keep
See,
getting
I mean,
gigs
like,
if you can get them. Gig them.
I guess. Do you? I mean, how
Oh,
much
yeah,
does he
until they
have
kick you out.
His buyout at Texas A&M was one of the best buyouts from the coach's standpoint. I think he had to receive 100% of it in 30 days.
All right, somebody's listening to us because I just went to type into Google and Kevin Sumlin's name was the first name that it popped up. When
Stewie,
I
are you just
They're
figuring this
always
out? They're
listening.
always listening. They're always watching.
What kind of question is that?
That's why your alien takes, that's why y'all's UFO takes are so off.
They're here.
Always watching. You know what I mean? Like, somebody is watching. But his buyout at Texas A&M, Stewie, check me on this. First 30 days, $10 million. Did he have to get? I believe he had to receive it all within the first month.
I don't know.
Because if you remember, like Malzahn had one of these buyouts where he had $21 million, and he had to receive like half of it within.
Yeah, the university's required to pay the money in a lump sum within 60 days of someone's
2
firing.
months, Coach.
Give me $10 million.
2 months.
Just go ahead and do it
10
today.
million, 8-4.
I take it.
Kyler Murray transferring.
And there was no clause in this contract allowing A&M to reduce what it owes if someone gets another job. So they had to pay him the full $10 million no matter what. And he's like, all right, I'll go to Arizona, get fired there, collect another buyout, and I'll just go, kicking around with the Houston Gramblers on USFL. They're not going to fire me there. They don't care.
Wouldn't you lose just your what I believe would have made coaches great or makes coaches great is a lot of the hunger.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the
Once you get fired
desire.
twice, it's like-
No, not getting fired. Like even if you fired me, that probably would light a fuse in me and want to come back even stronger. But if you fired me and I had $30 million in the bank, and you just gave me 10 to walk in 60 days, Coach, the Arizona job and the Houston Gamblers job can eat it. Like,
don't want to do this.
Well, I guess if like you really want me and want to pay me, like Arizona threw a bunch of money at someone, so I guess he was like, I mean, I can only earn so much in so much time. I mean, I guess why not? I'm not going to turn the paycheck down. But I mean, obviously he was checked out. He was not as interested or hungry about it as he was early in his coaching. I mean, like, remember Kevin Sumlin at Houston?
He was up and comer. Yeah, that's how he got the A&M job.
Like
I'm
creative.
Hungry. Yes,
I mean,
offensive
even
guy.
early days, Johnny Manziel with Kingsbury on the sideline, they had some swag to him, man. I mean, Sumlin was rocking the shades, the visor, the dry fits.
He's chilling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they were putting off. They were putting off a vibe. I mean, like they're
of success.
Absolutely,
Like, he's going to turn this thing around, and he's going to be a mainstay head coach instead. Candid A&M.
I mean, he had Kyle Allen and Kyler Murray in the same recruiting class.
Kenny Hill.
Kenny Thrill.
Kenny Trill.
God, do you remember that? That would happen for about 2 weeks. He was awesome. Then he went to TCU.
Yeah.
Did LSU have to play him after he transferred?
Trill?
Yeah.
Did
he
they?
go to TCU?
Nah, they played Boykin whenever he was
Yes,
there.
that's right.
I think he was there, but he didn't play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Kenny Trill had the opener versus South Carolina where they thought he was going to win the
Heisman winner. Yeah.
I think 3 weeks later he was transferred.
He was off the team.
He was done.
No, that's college football. That's how
But I
excited
mean,
we get for week one. Like, oh, there's your Heisman winner right there.
Post Manziel life for Sumlin was brutal.
It's tough.
I mean, post Manziel for Kingsbury's been, I guess, good to his financial. But I mean, he hasn't. That was the peak of the mountain for Kingsbury, right?
Well, he's now I would say it's.
I mean,
the
now,
head
but I
coach
mean,
of the Arizona Cardinals.
he's still like a mediocre coach in the NFL.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't recognize him as one of the. I mean, he struck. To me, Kingsbury got that gig because of his like
persona,
kind of his cachet.
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
just
I mean,
cool.
right?
He probably walked in and won
he
the
puts
job
off
over. Like, hey.
Scottsdale vibes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this guy's cool.
Did you see where he made Kyler Murray call the offense in the second half for the Cardinals? 3 straight 3-and-outs. Punt, punt, punt.
What a great coaching
Like,
flex.
you think this is easy? You don't want to study?
Do it.
You don't know what you're looking at. Like, and it made him do it on national TV. You could see Kyler with the play sheet, punt, punt, punt. It's like, maybe you should get in the film room.
Well, I saw that Arizona is going to be the team that they're following in season for Hard Knocks.
Yeah, you saw the
the Colts was very blah last year in season Hard Knocks, but I'll watch.
Oh yeah.
Kingsbury, Kyler Murray. I mean,
DeAndre
Hopkins, absolutely.
There's certainly intrigue built around it just because of like we were talking about, the new contract where he said he had to have 4 hours of study time, then they took it away. And so, like, it very much played out in public. Then you see Kyler Murray calling plays. Like, they're trying to, light a fire under his ass, but I don't know if it's working. And then Kingsbury's going to be probably on the hot seat, I would imagine, if he keeps – well, they start off hot every year, and then they always kind of fall off.
8-8.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he did at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who he is.
8-8,
He's
make
fine.
it to a bowl game.
Yeah.
Put up 50.
8-8.
Still getting paid.
But I was listening to some of the Cover 3 podcast. I was listening to the Cover 3 podcast over the weekend, and they were doing over and unders and wins totals on SEC Western Division teams. And there's a lot of uncertainty out there for SEC Western Division teams at the top. Alabama's over and under is 11. I would take the over there. Texas A&M, I believe, was at 8.5. Let me check that real quick. LSU obviously at 7.5. But one of the things that they said over at the Cover 3 podcast that jumped out to me on LSU was that they believe LSU has the best receiving core in the SEC, in the conference, and they are. That's what makes LSU so intriguing for some of the nationalists. This is like Danny Cannell as a part of the Cover 3 podcast. But it's just good college football talk. If you're looking to just catch up on college football talk and want to hear about it, Cover 3 podcast is a really good one. Let me get to this total so I don't screw this up as far as Texas A&M is concerned. But I believe it was 8.5 for the Aggies. And while most people believe Texas A&M to be the second best team in the SEC West, there's still a lot of uncertainty and a little hesitation around the Aggies. I think there obviously is concern over whether it's going to be Hayes King or whether it's going to be Max Johnson at quarterback. Are they going to be able to make big plays? I didn't know this. Since Jimbo has been in College Station, they have been the second worst team in the conference as far as explosive plays go.
Yeah,
really?
They don't make big plays.
Long, methodical drives.
They take like 12, 8, 12, 14 play drives, suck the time off the clock. But really, they have not had a wide receiver that can get off the line of scrimmage.
True.
They haven't had a guy that can really get past the first level of defense and make a big play. And that's surprising. It really is, because of just kind of thinking back on Jimbo and the style that he liked to call the game. I mean, he'd pop, he would hand it off, but he was looking to pop you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was looking to stretch you out. I mean, he wanted to shoot over the top and kind of, at least put you back on your heels a little bit and get you thinking.
Who's the first? If they're the second worst?
Vanderbilt. Saved by Vandy.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's call them the worst.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
Cool.
Right? I mean, but I think that's a definite shot at like Damian Craig, the wide receivers coach.
No, they moved him to quarterbacks coach.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, they had to.
Yeah,
because
this year.
Craig and Jimbo Fisher have this tie. Fisher was Damian Craig's quarterbacks coach at Auburn when it was kind of Fisher's first big job.
Star turn, yeah.
And Damian Craig and Fisher have always been super loyal to one another. He was at Florida State with him. He was one of the first hires he made at Texas A&M. I mean, Damian Craig's experience at LSU was a debacle.
Oh, God.
I mean, was a debacle. I mean, the fact that he got a job after what he did at LSU, there's only one place in America that would have hired him. There's only one guy that would have hired him, and it's Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M. I mean,
So
he was
Jimbo
going out
was
on
his
recruiting.
quarterback's
He was
coach?
going out on recruiting visits in the LSU polo, like de-recruiting LSU,
Really?
like recruiting against LSU and almost recruiting
Why?
kids, because it was, I guess, he had the deal already kind of worked out with Jimbo,
Yeah.
kind of behind the scenes, and they had a huge fallout. There was a fallout between, Craig and Ogeron's staff, and it just got very, very ugly at the end.
I mean, you saw it in 2018, huh? The A&M game? Was that 2018? Whenever
Yeah, that's right.
He was in the middle of the fight. Like, he was kind of what caused the big skirmish.
Yeah.
Was between him and then Kevin Falk took
Yeah.
whoever that kid was. That
was Jimbo's
that
nephew.
Jimbo's nephew.
Nephew.
What an idiot.
Right. I mean, he'll look back on that.
You'd say, I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah,
KFC,
absolutely.
I don't care who you are.
You can see the look on his face.
It's war mode. Game's
John Battle.
Yeah. Dude, Battle told the story on our show, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I got away with one.
I'm trying to find this Texas A&M future here. Help me out, Lloyd, on Caesar Sportsbook, if you don't mind.
You know what time it is. It's Futures Lloyd time.
Futures time.
Futures Lloyd.
I do have a future out on Baylor over wins.
Oh, my God.
Where are they at?
How many futures do you have right now?
I have 31 pending bets for this season. And you just go down the line.
Yeah.
See one that you like about 2:30 in the morning, put it in.
About 2:30.
You forget about it, do it again.
Yeah.
But let's see. Who you want, A&M?
A&M.
Let's see. Future bets. Regular season wins. And we are going down the list. You can't search, which stinks. We always need a search feature.
Kelly, tell them. Katie, tell them about our friends over at Matchpoint. I mean, not Matchpoint. I'm reading this thing on Matchpoint with Sheldon Sampson on at Dead Soxy.
I want to. Dead Soxy. I wore mine last night again, y'all. I'll seriously wash those freaking athletic socks and then rewear them the next day. Go over there and get your own LSU socks in time for football season. 21 days. Use the code Jordy to get up to 35% off of your order and get your feet ready for LSU games.
Custom socks right here in the sock drawer. You see them in
They're
between
so cute.
Katie and I. If you're over at deadsoxy.com, make sure and use the promo code for Dead Soxy, Jordy, to save yourself up to 35%. We got Ross.
Yep.
Good. Let's talk some New Orleans Saints football here as we come back, and we will catch up with our guy, Ross Jackson, from Locked On Saints podcast, 8.5.
And Tigers are at 7.
7. Stealing.
So, yeah, and then you have another Baylor, the one that I talked about, Baylor. Baylor's only at 8.
We'll find out what the Saints are. We'll ask Ross what he thinks about those totals when we come back here. Ross Jackson, Locked On Saints podcast. If you are not listening to that, what the hell are you doing with your life? We will break down the Saints' opening preseason action and what his thoughts are as practice moves from the South to the Midwest to Green Bay. We'll talk to Ross Jackson next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Saints are at 8.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyra Lacey, Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Best athlete to come out of New Iberia, Mark Roman?
Kayshawn Buddha.
Kayshawn? Wow.
Right now, Kayshawn, and Mark was a little bit before me. I was a ball boy. When Mark was playing at New Iberia Senior High School, I played like right after Mark. But Kayshawn just has done some things, and just the things that you guys are seeing Kayshawn do, that he's not even scratching the surface of what we saw on a day-to-day basis at practice. And he's unreal. He's unreal.
He's so natural. It's so so easy. It looks so easy to him.
Yes, it's so easy, and there's never been another a competitor I've ever seen like Kayshawn. Kayshawn would not lose going to eat pregame meal. He has to be the first. He is the ultimate competitor. He would not lose. So trust me, he will be ready.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Saints preseason action. Told you a little bit about it, but we were waiting on our conversation with our guy, Ross Jackson, who can break it down as good as anybody, man. Make sure you are following him right now on Twitter, at Ross Jackson NOLA. You can catch him everywhere, man. You can listen to him at the Locked On Saints podcast. You can read his work. He's a part of the USA Today Saints Wire that you can read all the time with Jackson. And easiest way is just to keep up with him on Twitter, at Ross Jackson NOLA, as we go back down and catch up with our dude, man, here on this Monday as the Saints break camp from the South and will head up to Green Bay. So this will be a pretty pivotal week for New Orleans. But let's talk a little bit about game one of the preseason with our guy. Ross, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks so much, as always, for having me on. Glad to be back here with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. No way there was 50 better football players in the world than Alvin Kamara, right? I mean,
how did I know that that's exactly where you were going to go?
How in the hell, man? I mean, he was ranked 14th last season, and that felt about right.
Right.
But 51? What are they looking at? What am I missing?
Yeah. I think that this is one of those situations where they're trying to utilize past production or most recent past production numbers for a projection going into the next season and things like that. This is, of course, voted on by players and coaches and things like that. So you can only really go so far with it, I guess, in that case. But I mean, I get that last year wasn't the most productive season for Alvin Kamara of his career, but he also played with 4 different quarterbacks and an entirely different offensive line and all these other things. So I think it's a great setup. That, along with what Marshawn Lattimore at like 89 or something like that. I think both of those are really great setups for this just sort of big slap him in the face kind of season going into 2022. But
Yeah. Ross, before we get granular on this stuff, there was no Kamara, there was no Matthew, there was no Thomas, there was no DeMario Davis. None of the headliners were out there. And the first thing that I took away from it was that the first groups looked fantastic. All in all, your takeaway of 4 quarters of action and specifically the opening quarter of what you saw on Saturday night as the Saints fell to Houston 17-13.
Yeah, I think that first drive by the offense and the first few drives by that Saints defensive starting unit for that specific game, a lot of positives to take from all of that. I mean, that defense was smothering all over that Houston Texans roster, which I know is not the greatest roster in the NFL at all, but hey, this is opening action, first preseason game of the season and everything. So you want to see teams that are really good be better than teams that aren't, and that's exactly what you saw from the New Orleans Saints, particularly over on the defensive side. I thought that opening drive that was orchestrated by Andy Dalton, and just to highlight a little bit more in terms of what you were talking about there, no Ryan Ramczyk, no Jameis Winston, no Michael Thomas, no Jarvis Landry, and we're still able to lead an opening possession drive, which, Jordy, we didn't see a lot of in 2021 at all from this New Orleans Saints team. So to see that with Andy Dalton at the helm, it highlights how important the veteran backup is, of course, but it also highlights just how good the scheme and system will be going into 2022, and why worrying about Pete Carmichael being a full-time play caller, it's pretty fruitless at this point.
Absolutely. The running back competition. Take me to that group. What happened on Saturday night? What happens this week?
Yeah, I think you saw 2 very good running backs come out of that, or two backs that come out of that group of 4 that looked really good. Let me say it that way, because you didn't have Alvin Kamara, you didn't have Mark Ingram. So it immediately went to those guys that are battling for that 3rd, potentially 4th running back spot, depending upon how many running backs the Saints decide to keep. I think Dwayne Washington had a really nice day. I know he only averaged about 2.1 yards per carry, but he got a lot of red zone work in there as well, which is to be expected at that point on the field. But to show you what he was able to contribute in the passing game, the 9-yard screen pass, which, look, Andres Pete and Eric McCoy deserve a lot of credit for that, but that was 2 hats on 3 hats in terms of what the defense was. So Dwayne Washington still had to make the right moves. He faked the cut inside in between the 2 offensive linemen, was able to bounce back, outside, was able to bounce back inside to be able to walk into the end zone. So he still did his job in that environment. So I thought that he was somebody that, coming in as kind of the incumbent running back 3 in a way, being the guy that's always been on that roster, that's been here for the past couple of seasons, and of course is a special teams ace for you as well. I thought that he maintained sort of his name at the top of the list, and things could continue to shift around. But I wouldn't sleep yet on former Baylor running back and undrafted free agent rookie Abram Smith. I know he had the fumble in the red zone. That's something that's going to come with these preseason games. Certainly something you want to make sure that gets cleaned up. Of course, we saw a lot of I think Dennis Allen mentioned it too, like the ball was on the ground a little bit too much during this game with some bad snaps, a couple of fumbles. Dwayne Washington had one as well. But I think that, Abram Smith showed you that he deserves at least some earlier snaps in the next sort of opportunity that he'll get against the Green Bay Packers, with 4.3 yards per carry and some pretty explosive moments.
Offensive line competition on Saturday night. I thought some major movement there. I thought Cesar Ruiz played pretty good considering kind of where he was coming from. Some standouts there before we get to Trevor Penning.
Yeah, I think Cesar Ruiz is the one that I would like to highlight as well. He kind of got beat on the very first play, Ross Blacklock winning with the outside swim move. But right after that, I mean, he kind of buckled down and really kind of settled in. You could see that the nerves maybe went away a little bit, and he did a great job. I thought that his execution on the screenplay was textbook as well. He engaged with that defensive lineman outside path in towards the quarterback, angled his body to make sure that he was protected from any type of backside pressure coming from that on the screen pass, and it was able to block it off. So I thought that he did a really good job there. I thought that his hand placement was really nice throughout the day, and so I think that he had a really nice day. I think that he looked really good. I think Landon Young is somebody that showed you a little bit of what he can do and a little bit of what he has left to work on as well. Andres Pete and Coy, of course, they can hang their laurels on that screen pass for the touchdown. But I thought that there were some really, really nice plays all along that offensive line.
I love a red zone screenplay.
Damn, I love so nice. And when it's executed, it's just beautiful, right? You can see the entire thing develop. It's so nice.
So is Andres Pete? Andres Pete's the difference maker there, right? Isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. In that particular play, for sure. 100%. Him and Eric McCoy both getting out there. Andres Pete getting all the way out to the perimeter was nice. I mean, he's blocking where you would usually see Michael Thomas block, right? Mm-hmm. Like you're seeing like him out there at a wide receiver sort of spread. So you see him get out there with speed, get out there cleanly. Very nice release, knew exactly where to go, beelined it directly for his assignment, was able to help to close it off. And he might have had maybe the harder opportunity or the harder sort of responsibility outside of the two that were there, with him and McCoy having to make sure that he's blocking off and utilizing that sideline correctly and properly. And he was able to do that without drawing any type of holding penalty or anything. Just the angle that he was taking could have very easily turned into something like a block in the back if the DB is just a little bit faster to react there or something like that. So I thought that he did a really good job just basically neutralizing that player and not allowing any type of any type of catch up from behind Dwayne Washington, and allowing him to basically be able to walk into the end zone there.
James Hurst and Trevor Penning, where is that competition after preseason game number 1?
Yeah, I think a lot of us thought that the competition was kind of narrowing between the two. I know Trevor Penning was graded as one of the highest rookies, or maybe even the highest graded rookie from Pro Football Focus coming out of the week 1 of the preseason. But I think you saw places where he struggled a lot in the passing game. And because of that, it kind of widened the gap a little bit more for me between Penning and James Hurst. And actually for a lot of folks that were watching it as well. Now, it's only one preseason game. It's not like we can just write Trevor Penning off at this point as being the guy that can't develop into the potential starter at left tackle. He's going to get some nice joint practices against the Packers. He'll get the preseason game against the Packers and, of course, against the Chargers to wrap it all up. But I think that maybe that gap was a little bit wider than maybe many of us expected. Thought it was kind of narrowing out a little bit, but we saw that there's still a lot for Trevor Penning to work on, particularly in the passing game. In the run game, he flashed. He showed you some really, really good things that you love to see from him.
From a Chris Olave standpoint, I know that there wasn't the production. There is a shot of his footwork where they catch him coming off the line one time where he makes a starting defensive back whiff. I mean, like, he doesn't even get his hands on him. Where is his development now? And I'd imagine that this is going to be a big week for a lot of people, but most notably a guy like Olave getting away from Lattimore, Adebo, and that crew and going up against some other competition all week.
Yeah, I would absolutely think so. And some of that might be on Friday night in terms of the game and in game situations, but a lot of it's going to be during those joint practices as well. I think his development has come along really well. He's clearly understands the playbook. No confusion or miscommunication coming from him so far with what we've seen from camp. I think the big thing that he has told us that he has been working on that we've seen progress is, of course, his ability to be able to get off of press coverage. So when that DB is able to actually get his hands on Chris Olave, unlike that seconder, yes, good luck doing that. But how is he in terms of being able to fight off that contact, fight through that contact, to be able to continue on and stay on schedule, which I think is another big piece of it. Like, the contact at the line sometimes disrupts all of the timing disrupts the rhythm of the play. So if you can get away from it quickly, you can save some of that and you can salvage that play for your quarterback. And that's a part of what he is wanting to do, what he is wanting to work on. So I think we'll be watching that. And I think the other piece that you're watching too is how much he can produce, not only from the outside, but also in the slot, which is where that route came from that we were watching, or that we were kind of referencing in terms of him losing that defensive back. So I think you're just looking at the versatility, ability to be able to work off of press coverage. But if he can keep the hands off of him at the line of scrimmage, just as good.
That was some Odell type footwork. I mean, like that.
Oh,
was,
yeah.
He was dancing in a phone booth, bro. I mean, like that was impressive. Not impressive was Traquan Smith, and he's got a great opportunity that it feels like he has let slipping away. What's going on with him? Because the Saints got dudes at wide receiver, man. There is not a lot of room for error, and he had one bounce off his face mask in the end zone. Where is he right now?
Yeah, that was not great for Traquan Smith, and he had some moments, right? He had the catch in the opening drive and all that. That was nice. But when you get into the red zone and you drop a touchdown on third down, that's going to be something that's going to live with you. That's going to be a part of your evaluation. And so it was an unfortunate play for him. Hopefully, he's going to be able to bounce back from it. But you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of opportunity there in that wide receiver room. You have your first 3 wide receivers locked down. I would dare say your first 4 wide receivers locked down if you include Deontay Hardy in there with Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave. So there's not a lot of room for the error. If the Saints decide that they're going to keep 6 wide receivers, then maybe you get a little bit more there, but you're still combating and you're still battling with guys like Marquez Callaway, who was a starter last year and your leading receiver in last year's offense. Dejon Dixon, who had a really nice day and led receivers, 3 catches for 33 yards for the Saints and was the second leading receiver in the game. Kirk Merritt, who showed you what he can do all throughout camp as well, and others. And so I think that, you look at where Traquan Smith is. He really needed a nice day, and he had some opportunities there in the preseason. If you don't get the opportunities, that's one thing. But when you have the opportunities and you can't capitalize on it, now you need a bounce back week.
Yeah, and I thought that was a kind of a ripple effect to Ian Book. He was struggling up to that point, and then to have that pass dropped, it's a different storyline if he's got a touchdown pass or another one. What did you see in his performance in Book?
Yeah, look, there's no sugarcoating the fact that Ian Book definitely struggled, right? He had some botched snap exchanges, a couple of throws over to the left side of the field that were high, one of which ending in an interception. Juwan Johnson tried his best to bring it in, but it ended up getting tipped up in the air and intercepted. So I think that, you saw an up and down day from Ian Book for sure, but I agree. If you get that touchdown, then maybe things go differently for the rest of the game, right? That's momentum, that's confidence. There's all of those other pieces of it that aren't just, the stat sheet, which definitely he could have used the help on the stat sheet to get that touchdown. So I think that, Ian Book didn't necessarily have the greatest performance at all. I'm not here to talk about Ian Book like he's going to be, your QB2 going into the season, or that he's even battling for that position, right? So I think the biggest piece for him is, can he stay on the roster at this point? And that's not about his performance or anything like that. It's just simply, are the Saints going to keep 2 quarterbacks or 3? Can you do the things that leave them no choice but to keep 3 because they're worried that you won't make it to the practice squad or anything like that? So, we're going to be looking forward to seeing a little bit more of him going into the next 2 games. He got 63 total snaps in that game against the Texans. He only had 24 in the preseason before that with the canceled Cardinals game last year. And then he had about 50 or so snaps up against the Miami Dolphins. So he about doubled his experience in that preseason game. So now you're just looking to see how he can bounce back from it going into the following week.
This is a big week for NFL teams with these joint practices, right? What's the Saints? What type of steps can they take this week? What are you looking for them to take away from this experience?
Yeah, you're looking for consistency from the guys that have already played well all throughout the preseason. So even a guy like Paulson Adebo, right, who's been an absolute star for the Saints training camp so far. What is it like when he's going up against unfamiliar opponents, right? How much of what we're seeing from him is the familiarity with the people that he's lining up across versus how much of it is just how much he's grown and how much he's developed? I don't think you can, say one way more than the other. You can, kind of hope for one way over the other, but now you get an opportunity to see it a little bit more as we get into those joint practices. So you're looking for that. You're looking for the guys in the trenches as well. Trevor Penning getting a real opportunity to see some quick development here, going up against the Green Bay Packers edge rushers, who are a different style and different strategy, different game plan, everything in terms of how they rush the passer versus how Saints edge rushers or edge defenders rush the passer. You have a little bit more speed there with guys like Rashawn Gary and others, as opposed to, you know, the big powerful guys like Marcus Davenport and Peyton Turner and Cam Jordan that just want to push you into the lap of the quarterback. And so I think you're looking for those players to have that. And then I think the other thing you're really looking forward to is, what does Michael Thomas look like going up against another team's number one corner? You know, I think that's going to be a really good barometer for where his recovery is and where he is. I expect that he'll continue to shine just like he has throughout training camp thus far, but it's going to be a lot of fun seeing him do it against somebody else in a different jersey.
Ross, what do you think the national perception of the Saints is right now? It feels like us in Louisiana, we have a little bit of maybe a clearer read on what the Saints could do this year. What's the kind of the national perception of what the Saints can do in terms of record and how, I guess, they're perceived around the league?
Yeah, I love the way you say that there's maybe a clearer perception here in Louisiana, and I think that that's true. I think nationally it's a little bit more we don't know what to do with them kind of attitude. That's why you see a lot of those win totals and projections and things like that hovering around 7.5 to 9.5. That's kind of right in the middle in terms of where you can be as an NFL team. Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, we did, Jeff Duncan did a piece over at NOLA.com where he polled all of the New Orleans media members, and I think the fewest wins that were notched was 9. And I think that was only one of us. Everybody else was kind of 10 plus is kind of where we are on this team. So you're right. That's kind of the floor for where we see them. But we're seeing the way that this team has responded to Dennis Allen, how we know a little bit more in terms of what Pete Carmichael brings to the team. We know that this New Orleans Saints team is going to be impacted at some point or another by the loss of Sean Payton. But I think nationally they expect that loss to be a lot more prevalent and a lot more present throughout the entirety of the season. We might expect to see it in moments, right? Decisions, risk, things like that. But for the most part, in terms of the national perspective, there's a big expectation that not having Sean Payton is going to have a humongous impact on this New Orleans Saints team. And again, you might see that in certain circumstances, but I don't think you're going to see that as a storyline over the course of the entire season. This team's ready to go.
RJ, if you're not listening to the podcast, it is blowing up right now. Locked On Saints podcast. It is my morning start every single morning. Ross, did I hear you say the other day that Dennis Allen called Marcus Davenport the best player on the Saints defense? Do you believe that?
He did make that mention. Yeah. I don't know that I agree with that. I think that's Demario Davis all the way. I think Demario Davis might be one of the best players on the team. I don't think that I'm making a bold statement by saying that. But yeah, I mean, clearly Dennis Allen and this New Orleans Saints coaching staff are either really high on Marcus Davenport or want to make sure that they know that they have a lot of confidence in him.
Listen to the podcast. It is the best Saints information. And like I said, it's every single day. And the thing that is the best about it to me is that it's always there. In fact, Saints two-a-days. Are you still doing the two-a-days right now with Saints camp?
Yeah, any day that there is a training camp practice, there will be 2 shows a day. We do a live show after each practice and then a pre-recorded show in the evening just to get questions answered and things like that from the live show. So Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll definitely have that after those Packers joint practices, which I'll be at. I'm traveling to Green Bay to go and see those and make sure that I get to bring sort of, firsthand perspective on all of it.
That's what you get over at Locked On Saints podcast with Ross Jackson. Follow him on Twitter at Ross Jackson Nola. We will be checking again in soon, man. Thank you. Have a safe trip.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you. See y'all again here soon.
All right, there it is. Ross Jackson checking in from New Orleans, making the trip. How about the discipline of your boy not touching the microphone,
unbelievable.
bro?
I was over here fondly.
I mean, this thing's like a lottery. I mean, it's just like.
I've never noticed that you touch it that
I didn't either, but now when you try and take it away from it, it's very
Sometimes
comfortable just to kind of like.
He gives it a little rub.
Yeah, he gets up here with
that.
that.
I do kind of.
Yeah, it's very sensual.
Caress it, dude. Yeah, I mean,
Make
it's
love
very
to the
kind of firm.
And this is your weapon.
Hard, long, thick. Sounds Italian. You know what I mean? We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
We've seen the BK takeover stuff from LSU and social media, and really in his short time in Baton Rouge, there's been a lot of people embracing his approach to building this roster. What's it like to recruit alongside him?
Oh, it's been great. Coach has been awesome to me because he lets me be myself when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to coaching. He lets his coaches coach, he lets his coaches recruit. So I have no complaints on that end. And when I need him to get in touch with a kid, he's there for me. The communication line has been great. He's just been nothing but supportive.
Welcome back to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered here with this beautiful microphone from our friend Joe DeFalco. I see Joey in the chat. What's up, Joey? Make sure you follow us, subscribe, comment. Big day for our show as we'll be live at Woodlawn High School for Jordan Matthews' commitment today. And as you can see, Woodlawn, Coach Marcus Randall, Scott Stevens, the principal, we accept gear.
Yeah, we need gear.
Not only do we accept gear, we will wear and promote your gear here. As Zachary has come through with some alpha coaching gear.
This is
Nobody got any shoes?
Like no shoes, and I did kind of give a side-eye look, but you hated to be the kid on Christmas morning that asked, where's the rest of the presents?
Yeah, where's the Jordans?
Because when Brewerton dropped off the box, he did say, Culotta, you just hit the mother load. I did sprint it to the truck, kind of digging through it, waiting to see where the Jumpman logo was.
Yeah, he's
But
he's Heisman and everybody.
Nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining.
This is great gear.
See what old Woodlawn brings out.
Let's see. You're up next, Woodlawn. St. James coming at you tomorrow, baby.
See a little swag.
Yeah, right. Just looking for a little swag. But they swag us out with some, like, legit, like, real coaching material. I mean, we could actually do, like, a runway
They
coaching theme. What's that?
Do they
Oh,
get
I'm sure
shoes?
Brewerton's getting shoes.
But like just the coaches probably, right?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
The-
I would
the,
say
the
at
facility
Zachary,
at Zachary. If
they
you have
probably
not
get the
seen
whole-
it,
the full team.
I mean,
The whole kit
we
and
were
caboodle.
out there
Yeah.
to drop off Brewerton's
Bust in.
gear, right? Like beating down
It's
the doors.
nice. I mean, I was like, shit,
But I
this is
mean,
back
it's
here?
D1.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
this is college.
Oh, it's D1. I mean, it
I had
it
no
may not
idea.
be SEC West, but I mean, like, Nichols would run through a brick wall for
Oh, yeah.
Zachary's facilities.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
seen
You know
that
what I mean? Like, they would do anything to
Nichols
have
got the
Zachary's
Manning's
facilities.
money. They get
Yeah,
a
maybe
little-
so.
they get a
Maybe,
little cut from
maybe
the
I'm throwing
Mannings.
shots at Nichols. when
Southeastern.
I- Right,
Southeastern
Southeastern for
would
sure.
kill for this.
For sure.
I've never seen their facilities either.
Southeastern's
guys.
facility, like their weight room is probably their size.
Really?
Yeah, I know when I went to Southeastern for their camp and everything, their weight room was like the size of this area here.
Aw,
Yeah.
too bad.
Gino
Yeah.
Marino, big Southeastern football booster.
It was cooked.
But if they do shoes, if Zachary does the Jordans, they're going to look fire because this
Well, yeah,
color
they're gonna be
combination
baby
is
blue.
unbelievable.
Bro,
Man,
their,
this is-
their,
Yeah.
their colors are
Top
almost, it's like,
It's
made.
it's too good.
Yeah.
It's a, you know what I
know.
mean? It's like, I
It's
mean,
made
it-
for
the stand up behind
Jordan.
Kylan Jackson's commitment was so fine. And then on the
See,
other
the
side,
checks,
if you
they're
saw,
black.
it was the black background, which might have been even
the black
black is the play.
Yeah.
Both
the
helmets
baby
for fire
blue.
with the
They
visor.
should,
Both
they
fire-
should definitely
I mean-
go powder blue uniforms too.
Oh, I think they do.
I don't think
I know they got the powder blue tops.
Wait,
Yeah.
so is it red and green and blue?
Mhm.
Okay.
Not green.
no green. Just
That's not
Are you
green around
colorblind?
that
Oh, are you
Z.
colorblind, dude?
Wait, around that Z is not green?
No.
Hunter
no,
green?
it's just
Uh-uh,
black.
It's just black.
It's like
Are
It's like a
you
little
sure?
gray.
It's like a steel type of.
Yeah, it's like a granite.
Yeah.
Am I
Katie,
colorblind?
Dude, are you?
Wow.
I
You
don't-
can't be a pilot.
Are you colorblind?
Well, I don't
Isn't
want to be a
David
pilot.
colorblind?
Thanks.
Just
Isn't
saying.
David colorblind?
Yes,
Yeah,
Did
he
you
be
is.
pick
landing
out
no
his
planes.
clothes?
Yes, I'm not
Damn, that
colorblind.
explains so
That
much.
just looks like Hunter green to me right there.
Wow, Katie.
What?
Damn.
What color?
Call
is the
Dr. Ann
stoplight?
Shaw.
What?
What color is that? What color is this?
What color is this cup?
Silver.
All right.
Y'all, I'm not
What color am
colorblind.
I?
What color is the cord on the ground?
Black. That red?
Which color am I? Stewie,
Which one?
Stewie, what color am I?
I don't know what color.
I don't see color.
I feel like that's green.
Trick question.
Hey, let me know.
Get canceled on your own
Yeah,
show.
no doubt about it.
I'm looking up their school colors. There's no green.
No
in their
green.
School
No
colors.
green.
Just
No, there's
black,
not,
white,
Katie.
red, and
We didn't
blue.
have to go.
Marion
We
blue.
didn't have to go to the website
I did.
to confirm that. Wow! Breaking news: Katie's colorblind.
Colorblind. What color am I?
That's the tweet.
I mean, you're the interior decorator of the whole
I'm
operation.
not colorblind. Damn it! I thought that was green. It looks green
it's
from
cooked.
right here to me. I feel like someone could back me up on that, but no one is.
Where's Joe at on the top 100?
Joey B.
Like, who, Joe?
I mean, probably hasn't been. If he's not on there yet, he hasn't been named yet.
Yeah.
They don't. They like kind of slow leak. They used to do a TV
I'm just
show
looking at
around
the
it.
tweet.
Yeah,
from
they did.
LSU.
They don't do that anymore.
Saints top 100 players over at the NFL Network put out. Marshawn Lattimore, 89th. Ain't no way there's 88 better football players in the world than Marshawn Lattimore.
How many?
There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
How many do the Saints
And I'm
have?
not being I don't want to be biased here, but I mean, there's no way that Marshawn Lattimore
Lattimore's
is
underrated.
88. No doubt. I
Yeah.
think he's a top 35 player in the league.
I mean, you could put him
top
there.
40,
You
top
just could-
40
because
player?
you don't talk about him, people don't think about him. But that's because he's good.
But
at
that's a
his
compliment.
job. Yeah, he's a
right.
corner.
Demario Davis, 74th.
He's better than that.
On this year's top 100. Tyrann Matthews, 70th.
Zachary High football releasing their this is for their players. This is what they get to choose
What are
from.
those shoes over on
Wow.
the far right?
Pull that up, Coach. Can we expand that?
Yeah.
What's the website?
That's just the Zachary High Twitter account.
Oh, I can pull it up on here so they can see it on the show. Twitter.
It looks like some Air Max.
It does look like Air Max.
They got the Air Max cleats now too. Wow.
What color are the Air Max? So I guess
They just go
everything's
black
black on
cleats.
there.
Tool.
Yeah,
they
just
do.
go
They
black
wear just
cleats.
black cleats.
I mean, you can
No, it looks like you got a selection for white right there.
well,
Are
that's
those
like lineman
Oh, you
cleats.
can do white.
That's lineman. I'm not.
It'd be a lot
Well,
cooler
these
if
are
you could
white.
choose the Air Max colors though in like the blue,
Oh, I got you. Yeah, right. I got you.
right?
Tyrann Matthew is 70th on the NFL top 100.
No way.
Cam Jordan, 69th on the top 100.
69.
Something wrong with you.
Is that not what y'all say whenever you hear 69?
We say it's nice.
Alvin Kamara, 51st. Give me
A break.
a break on Alvin Kamara
It's cool.
being number 51.
Yeah, that list is cool.
How many The Saints have to have a team with probably the most players in the top 100. Just consistency across the board. Like just to have them listed.
So who else on the list? I guess Mike Thomas is not going to be on it.
It's based off of last year's performance.
Right. So he's a top 100 player.
Who's number one? Did you already say?
Cam Jordan, Demario Davis.
I'd imagine like Josh Allen's probably number one.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
It'll be 1-2.
We'll be right there.
Myles Garrett. All the heavy hitters.
Brady
will be
Tom
up
Brady's
there.
number 4.
Wait, where are you seeing this list?
Huh?
The full list has been debuted?
Am I not looking at the right list?
Is it 2022?
We found out you're colorblind today.
Stop, y'all. Let me make sure.
Make sure it's
It
2022.
says top 100 players in 2022.
All right, who you got?
When did this come out?
It's coming out right now.
This is July 27th.
Aaron Donald's one.
This is like a week or 2
I'm
weeks
with it.
ago. So yeah,
Rodgers
this already
2.
came out.
Aaron Rodgers 2, ahead of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I would
Mahomes
take both
3,
of them.
Allen 4, Cooper Kupp 5.
I would
Tom
take
Brady
Josh
6.
Allen and Patrick Mahomes right now over Aaron Rodgers.
It's only 1 year though.
I know, but I'm talking about today, right now, based off of the last year's production. I would take Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes over Aaron Rodgers. Now, I'm okay with Aaron Rodgers being a top 6 player, top 5 player, but behind Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, I would say those two guys are better quarterbacks than Rodgers is right now. And you're taking Devontae Adams away from Rodgers?
That's true. But he threw for 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, only 4 picks last year. Back-to-back MVP, and he's high as a kite. So he's got that going for him.
Might be wearing a jersey by the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe get Patrick Mahomes.
Where's Brady at?
Brady is, I think, 4. No, Josh Allen's 4, Cooper Kupp 5, Tom Brady 6.
Okay.
Cooper Kupp that high? I mean, I get it, but
led the NFL in catches and yards. He almost had 2,000 yards as a receiver. Has that ever happened?
no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I mean, because he had about as good a year as you can have. Maybe it might have been the best wide receiver year ever. He won the Triple Crown too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Catches, yards, and touchdowns.
Yeah, no powder blue from Zachary though.
Yet.
Really?
Went look through.
For
Got
the
red, got
Air
black,
Max. Really?
got all white,
Oh,
and
they're
you got a
missing the
gray.
boat not having the powder blue in there.
Joey Burrow 21.
We'll take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Justin Herbert 20
Where
though.
was,
See,
Jamar
I don't
Chase
get
is
that.
18.
Why do they
The
keep?
Herbert
Why do they
loving-
keep cucking Joe for Justin Herbert? Like, what's up? Like,
Well, I
just
mean,
'cause he
look,
looks
hey,
more-
look. I think they're neck and neck.
yeah,
They're not. It's not.
it's not that far apart.
It's not that
for
far
sure.
apart. We're all taking Joey, and I think I'm taking Joey because of the intangibles, because of the things off the field, or the things from off the field that he brings on.
See, it's the truth.
To the field with him.
So
But yeah, but I've got no problem with Herbert and Joey being in each other's neck.
No.
You know, like,
I think like Joe Burrow's gonna end up not liking Justin Herbert because of this. Herbert.
no.
Justin
Herbert.
Justin Hebert, huh?
Hebert.
They ain't listening to us on this stuff, man.
Burrow 34 tuds, 14 picks.
What was
That's
Herbert?
a lot of interceptions.
What was Herbert's?
Herbert was 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions.
See, they're neck and neck almost.
They are.
I mean,
God, man,
if Burrow doesn't get hurt, he wins Herbert's Rookie of the Year.
No doubt.
But Herbert had a great rookie year,
Yeah,
bro.
apples and oranges.
I mean,
right
some
now.
of his rookie throws, Joe
31
can't
and
make.
10. Yeah,
Huh?
that's what I'm saying. He's
got something in the arsenal that Joe doesn't have.
Yeah,
Who
But
makes
Joe
this
has.
list?
But Joe has some things that Herbert did. The mental part of it, the leadership part of it, the being able to put your team on your back, win a national championship, take them to the Super Bowl, do stuff like that. Herbert can't do that stuff.
Yeah. Because
You know?
Herbert
yeah,
wasn't.
just the leadership is different. Like
Right.
they said that they like him in the locker room. He's cool. He's just very reserved, quiet guy.
I'm sure he fits LA to a T. You know what I mean?
From,
Like
he's
hair.
from the West Coast.
perfect
Yeah.
fit.
I mean, he
West
went.
Coast guy.
He stayed in Oregon for an extra year because like I just kind of.
Why not?
I'm enjoying it.
Right. Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Didn't have that dog in him.
No, I don't think he does either. But Joey's got that dog.
Yeah, Joey's a killer.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded.
I mean, punch
Kill.
Patrick Queen in the face.
Who
with a helmet
makes
on.
this list? Like, where does this come from?
The
The
NFL.
players actually vote on it.
This
The
is
players
the
vote on it?
So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty prestigious list.
Yeah.
But, Pete Prisco.
Yeah,
Who's
this-
that?
He's a sports writer.
That's who makes the list. We just trust him. He's
What
that
list
good.
are you looking at?
CBS Sports.
No, that's not the right one.
Yeah,
That's not
CBS
the
is
right
What do you
one.
mean?
like.
No, it's the NFL Network.
Well, it's still the top 100 NFL
Yeah, right.
players
Well,
in
everybody's putting out their
2022.
top
No, we're
100,
not-
but the
yeah.
one that the one that
But it's the
people
exact
officially
same
go
people.
by.
It's the exact
No,
same
no,
numbers.
no. That's
What?
Prisco's list.
That's like sports writers.
Yeah.
I
Kyler
know, but
Murray
it's
is
right.
like, it's trended with
Yeah.
every number you've read so far, Lloyd.
Yeah, but it's not the one that they go by.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
the NFL Network is the one that people go by. If you go to NFL Network's
That's what
Twitter,
I'm on right now.
Okay.
they announce the top 100, and that's the one that are voted on by the players.
Okay.
That's the one that all the players are paying attention to.
Mhm.
That's the one that people are paying attention to, is to say, this is.
This is where we rank each other, essentially. Like, I think they take it very seriously, too. They're not just
Sure.
writing names down, but they're only through 60 to 51.
So here comes the
Darren Waller, 58. Kyler Murray, 57.
Russell Westbrook, 61. Excuse me, Russell Wilson, 61.
That's right. He's better than that.
Last year's ranked 12.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a slide, Coach.
That's right. Yeah, it's weird. They're going to be good. Broncos are going to be real good.
That's right.
But we'll see. So they don't do the show anymore? Alvin Kamara,
Devin White,
51.
64. Are you kidding? This is a joke.
They don't know.
This is a joke.
Well, these are the players.
Devin White, 64. Coach, he's the best linebacker in the game. That should be top 20 alone.
I go DeMario.
Okay, well, he's a
DeMario's
top 2 linebacker.
Yeah.
He's one of the.
he's
he's
one
an
of the top
all-pro.
5 for sure.
Huh. Maybe they don't take it seriously.
There are so many. This is weird to me.
Who puts it all together at the end? How do they?
The votes?
Yeah.
I guess the NFL Network.
So it's whoever's listed at like 7th the most is 7.
You get into the weeds.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how they put the list. I don't. Yeah.
Appreciate you being involved with us here on this Monday. Hit that like button, share button, comment button.
Hook 'em.
I'm going to lay this microphone down, and we'll see you at 2 o'clock at Woodlawn.
Yeah, y'all get the hell out of here.
What are you about to do to this?
The exclusive members know in the chat.
That's right.
It's behind the paywall.
Patreon.
See you in a minute.
Feed Finder.
Feed Finder, yeah.
Carpool Queen 69. Has she uploaded anything yet? You let us know.
I haven't.
Really?
You gotta get on it.
I don't know my password. You said it.
It was
Don't
the
say
weekend.
it.
I'm not going to say it out loud.
It was the weekend.
Yeah,
You were supposed to.
Yeah, I remember it.
Okay.
You're supposed to get that thing going this
Lick
weekend.
toes, exclamation point.
Yeah, phalanges.
Gross. No, that will not be it.
Y'all get there though.
I don't
I
like
gotta
this
book a
website
pedicure.
at
I'll
all.
just video that.
Tongue toes, question mark.
Ew. I saw a picture on there that was like a sample picture when we were looking at it, and each toe had like a chocolate chip cookie between each toe. Why? Why?
See, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm
into
out.
that. No food involved in it. That's gross.
Oh, that's what would put. Oh.
You looking at feet
It was,
or-
what's that?
Cheese whiz?
Yeah, like that, but it's for like ice cream. What's
Whipped
that
cream?
called? Whipped
Like-
cream. And it was not sexy. She just kind of sprayed it all over her face.
Well, I mean,
Whipped
cream
cream's
is a
disgusting.
sex food. That's a sexual food.
Is
though.
it though? It's
How-
sticky.
what?
So you'd let somebody lick
Yeah.
whipped cream off your feet?
Not
Would
on
you-
my feet.
okay.
No, we're not.
But even like
no.
off your
Nipples?
body somewhere?
Whipped
Whoa.
cream? You never used whipped cream?
I mean, I have, but it's sticky.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do it again.
You
Yeah.
have to lick it enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
Whoa.
being sticky.
But I mean,
Not enough foreplay for the Culotta household.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm done
Lick
with
it
that.
off.
Yeah.
The
That's
point is
great.
not to leave it on
Now
there.
my face is
Shit
all
outta here,
sticky.
man.
You're all sticky. Like
Chocolate sauce.
The point is not to leave the food behind.
I don't mix. You don't want to mix food and your relationship
I
stuff.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just you're doing too much.
Yeah,
Whipped
we could
cream?
go out to eat after. It's
Yeah, right.
It's cooked.
I feel like
So
that's
order
like
in.
the universal sexual food is whipped cream.
Absolutely.
No, it definitely
yeah,
is.
you're right.
It definitely
Look.
is. It definitely is. But I'm just saying it's overrated.
Yeah. I'm young, dumb, and full of it, but
Overrated,
I'm not using
overrated, underrated, or properly rated. Whipped cream. I say
I
overrated.
think it must be.
Overrated.
I think underrated.
It's overrated.
Underrated.
I mean,
Overrated?
if it was properly rated, or I think it was underrated, people would do it more. I think it's right where it needs to be. People that love it probably do it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People that have tried it, they're like, oh, that was fun. But like, I got to take a shower,
Sticky. Yeah.
hop in the pool.
Hootie, Jesus Christ, just tuned in. So what's happening?
Why did you
Hootie,
just
it's a
tune
simple
in?
question. Do you use whipped cream in your sex life? Yes or no?
Or have you? It's
Let
not
us
like
know.
And if you
do
have,
it regularly.
is it overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
Yeah, should that be the next poll question? I'm sure Dr. Ann Shaw would love that.
Yeah, right now it's could Jordy not touch the microphone. You almost
I
got
won
away
that
with it.
bet.
You did.
I'm over
You
that
did.
bet.
Underrated. Look,
Underrated
Like to make
Broad
love to this
TV.
thing.
Oh, peanut butter. What?
Oh,
Peanut
yeah.
butter.
Yeah.
Brady,
I'm
if you
out.
have a dog,
Jeez.
get rid of it.
Oh.
That just
He doesn't like doing what you're doing.
What's
Okay,
wrong
peanut
with
butter
you
might
people?
necessitate a shower.
Absolutely.
Peanut butter might.
I think
So will
it's-
whipped cream.
yeah.
It's whipped cream.
What?
Yeah, you can't put your shirt back on and be like, "Oh, I'm
Your
good to go
shirt.
for the day."
Katie, you gotta.
Yeah, I mean, even if you licked like a dog,
I feel like y'all
Like a
think
dog.
you'd
we're-
still leave behind the
sticky.
residue of it where it
Are
initially
you
was.
putting it all over your body? I mean,
No,
y'all are acting
I
like
mean-
you're taking a
No,
can
I mean
and
like
now covering
talking
let's
your
just
about-
go
whole
with the
body.
standard Varsity Blues whipped cream pie.
Okay.
Where she's standing and she's covering up all of her private parts, right?
Right.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
covering her nipples
That's where you put the
and her
whipped cream.
pizza, right?
Yeah.
She's got the pizza cut out. She's got her
I was
nipples.
wondering how I was going
Right?
to phrase that.
Paisan.
He's setting it up.
Pizza.
From that just appearance alone, like I'm not turned on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
That
I'm
was
not,
a lot, though. That was a lot of whipped cream she used.
Yeah, that's too much.
That was too much.
the hell
think-
was that?
I don't
Rooster?
know. Y'all. I think it was a truck going by.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was like.
Jesus, somebody was coming
Yeah,
through the
this
building.
is too this is too much. I guess you had to do it like this for the movie, but you
yeah,
would go
she had
just
to do
like.
that for the movie. Yeah, you
Right.
don't
You
put
know?
that much on in real
Okay.
life.
Yeah.
You're not covering. You're not
Right.
making a swimsuit.
Do you
out of it.
reapply? Like,
Yeah, right. At what
Yeah,
point?
you can totally
At what
do
point
that.
have you had enough?
right?
Yeah. So you
I mean,
wait? Do you use
dessert.
like a whole bottle,
Skip
like a
dessert.
whole?
Hey,
whole
you bring the
No.
can
You gotta
into the
go through the
room.
A
whole
whole
thing?
can. Good
The
God,
whole
you
can?
would throw
Jeez,
up,
the
I
whole
think.
I'm just asking. I mean,
No.
you're saying
Farting
reapply.
and burping on you.
Yeah.
bro.
Oh, shit, I can't wait to say it.
You said reapply. That's all I'm
just
all I'm
saying.
asking. You know.
Yeah, you reapply.
John Toops, I am 12 years old. Please stop this inappropriate. John, get your ass in school.
Yeah. Why aren't you at the class?
Who are your
Come
parents,
on.
John?
Come on.
You need your ass beat, kid.
Jesus.
John, you have an internship any
12
day you
years
want, buddy.
old.
It's
9:15.
Lloyd's telling the kid to drop out of elementary school.
Yeah.
Little ass to school.
I am 12 years old. Please stop.
Go ask your
At least
parents
you
if
know.
they use
And
whipped
ask
cream.
your teacher when you show up if she's ever done a whipped cream in sex.
Yeah.
Does she use whipped cream in
You could
sex?
be little Johnny.
Overrated, underrated, or properly rated, teach. Have a good day. Hit that like and share button. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
The cherry down.
We'll talk to you at 2 o'clock. Jordan Matthews is going to Texas, Tennessee, or Michigan.
LSU hat under the table.
Later.
Later.
They're calling me Stewie Sumlin in the chat.
Yeah, you're Stewie Sumlin now.
Stewie Sumlin.
I don't like that moniker. Still a better coach.